Gon' free your mind. Gon' free your mind, yeah. This is free your mind. This is free your mind. Gon' free it up, gon' free it up. Gon' free it up, gon' free it up. Gon' free it up, gon' free it up.
Yes, sir.
What's poppin'?
Let me get this link real quick. What's poppin', man? We back in this month. Oh, snaps.
Back. Yeah, nah, I just know how to fucking set everything to Facebook and run back over here and shit and everything.
Right. Like all the behind the scenes stuff right before, you know what I'm saying, we start really going.
Exactly. I think that's why we need moderators and shit, right? Like we just gonna be ready to let them do all this shit.
They can do it, right, for real.
Just give us the lights and the cameras and we gonna bring the action.
For real.
Hey, but welcome to another episode of the Free Your Mind podcast. We can come to free your mind and help others free theirs. I'm the co-host and I go by the name of Woon, and I'm all about balance like a mop and a broom. What's popping?
I'm the other co-host, man, by the name of Selfmade. You got to tap into self to know thyself always, man. We got a open discussion today. I know the last two shows was kind of geared towards spiritual. I mean, it's, you know how we move, man. It's just kind of hard to not get spiritual, even just with talking about regular shit. You know what I'm saying? But so we here to talk about what y'all want to talk about, man. Let me see if anybody in the chat, because I got to be way more on the chat this time. I'm on the chat. I'm on it.
That's a
Mari in the building on Instagram, man. I see you over there. I ain't got nobody on Facebook yet, nobody on YouTube, but when they start popping in, man, I'm gonna try to be on that. I know YouTube will pop in on here though, so I ain't even gotta do too much switching.
Definitely. And I know it may seem like we kind of like jumping around and shit as far as like the days we have. We don't got like a consistent day yet, but just work with us. Like, you know what I mean? We all over the place, baby. We're everywhere, baby.
Goddess divine in the building. Peace to the goddess.
Peace to the goddess.
What else we got in here, man?
I was trying to read them. I thought she had a message. That's just her moniker. Is that her moniker?
I
don't. Pink, heart.
Rob Moses in the building. What's up with bro? Hey, being that it isn't, I know, right? Being that it is an open discussion, open show. If you want to be a part of this show, let me know, and I will send you the link somehow, some way, depending on where you at. If I got you on Facebook or Instagram, or if the brother got you on Facebook or Instagram or something, we could send you the link and you could be in the flesh. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to actually come on the show.
Oh, I didn't know what you were going to do. You already got your camera time.
Just let me know.
I got to redo my thing.
There we go. He muted, but it wasn't all the way muted. But yeah, if y'all want to be a part of the show, just let me know and I can send you the link. And we can talk about whatever y'all want to talk about. We don't really have a set discussion. He said grabbing some food, I'll hop on after. All right, for sure. It was a couple of different topics thrown out on the last show. Like perspective. Moms, what's popping?
Your hair.
Thank you.
Hey, so because I saw you came the behind the scenes
Hey, you was still talking. I was like, wait, I thought he was on mute.
I thought I was too.
I'm like, let me go ahead and mute him out, man. Mess around here, I want to, I don't know what's going on. I'm like, let me go ahead and mute it just for the sake of Peace.
Piece of Shy
You said
Teasy in
Mama
the building.
Dukes.
What's up, Shy?
Shy T in the building. He said,
Here.
he'll give him about 30 minutes. He listening though. He in here. Peace to the chat. Okay. Yeah, man. We got the Young Life Maya. She's supposed to be in the building. I know she had a couple topics. She had some stuff she wanted to talk about. I know Mari has something to talk about. Let me just say this.
Oh yeah, so it's with the open discussions, I know a lot of the times it kind of start off a little slow, but then we speed it up. There go Lamaya right there.
Maya in the building. Peace.
And that burgundy kind of go with the feng shui of the bed. If you see that a little bit.
He came in matching. Uh-huh.
Hey, but bridging the gap, man. We have to almost always incorporate that into the shows. I think for sure now, right?
Yeah.
To whereas some of the I want to say last season. Can we do we got seasons? Can I say last season?
I know, right? Fuck it. Yeah, I guess so. We can run with that.
Yeah, last season, we was just sometimes debating information and things like that, but we're not even here to debate, more or less than to bridge the gap or to make those specific type of connections. So I think that with that being stated, like, for the people who probably didn't want to come in because it was more like a war zone as opposed to being like, just something that you could come and freely speak to. Now is the time to come in there, just kick whatever you got on your mind, and guarantee you we're going to make that connection for sure. Unless you want some crazy, outlandish, something that's just out of there, then y'all can have that. But huh? What?
This your whole show, the crazy outlandish.
Nah, we ain't doing everything. We ain't doing all that.
Yeah, I don't know. We ain't had one of those yet. We ain't had the crazy. Well, maybe we did in season 1. I think we had a couple shows that got wild.
They got wild.
They did get wild.
Yeah.
Hey, I was here because some of them shows lasted for like 7 and 8 hours. I'm like, you still on? Dang.
Right.
Yeah. It got wild. People was pulling out musket guns and all types of. You remember that? You remember that?
He was serious too.
And, bro, he had the whole musket thing on the tip.
He said, just in case.
He said, "You gonna do what?" And pulled the whole. Hey, they was roasting him too. They was like, "What, this nigga pulled out a World War II gun and shit?" Like, that shit was crazy. What's up with Law, man? We got Law in the building. I see you doing the vlogging thing, man. When you drop that, let me know, bro. I see you dropped a little snippet. But yeah, I don't know. Is Maya's mic working? Okay.
Yeah, it is. I'm just muted.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me switch.
But yeah, so it started off early. Peace to the chat, because I'm paying attention to the chat right now, so I'm 100% tapped in with the chat right now.
She said there was a discussion going on one of Woon's posts about humility.
Oh, hey, I have to say something to that.
Get him, Maya.
Because I seen
Get him, Maya. All right, I'm out.
security. Cause she over here biased. Mom's is biased on some Christian shit. But when it come down to that post, God is divine, I seen how the narrative got twisted just a little bit. And I'm glad that you kind of said what you said on there because it's important to be said like that, not to take nothing away from Gigi because he did make a good point. As a matter of fact, let me say it so we can kind of bring the audience into the conversation. But ultimately, my post was about receiving your prayers being answered and then you being humbled by it. But I was also stating that you have to be humble in order to even receive it anyway, right? So when you get that confirmation, it's just going to give more humbleness to that. So when you have to set yourself up to be humble and then get humbled again. But when I say get humbled, I think that's kind of what kicked Gigi's perspective off in the sense of to where it's just like, okay, you're getting humbled as opposed to kind of like being humbled and shit. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yo.
About to steal 2 of your eggs.
Oh yeah, no, you good. Is you coming on?
Yeah, after I eat.
This nigga's ill. But let me pull up what he said because what he said it was kind of still on point. Let me read it verbatim. He said, "Prayer is a humbling experience in and of itself because it's basically an admission that you don't have it and need help from a higher power. You have to put the ego to the side even to ask for help like that." So, and let me explain for the people who don't know. When I say prayer, I'm just talking about for the people who pray. And I hate to say it like this, but I'm really not a prayer person like that. So I don't, because I could twist his narrative and say, well, what about the people that are praying not for anything, just to pray that, just to give thanks, like you know what I mean? So you're not asking for anything, so you don't need to lower your energy, like you know what I mean? So on that type of time, it's just like, yeah, nah, like you ain't gotta worry about it on that type of level and shit. You feel me?
Right.
But I wish Love Joy could come on so she can kind of elaborate on her response to that because it was pretty important for her, to come in from the angle that she did.
She said, "So how do you all define humility / being humble?" And first, I literally just looked it up just because I was like, let me see what the definition of this shit is, right? Because I know in my mind how I look at it and shit. And so I'm gonna just read the definition real fast. Humble is, it says, having or showing a modest or low estimate of one's own importance. It says lower in dignity or importance. And I wasn't looking at it from that type of time when I was thinking humble. I was thinking like, well, I don't know, like that's what, like, don't be too full of yourself in a sense. Like, I guess that would be a low estimate of one's own importance, but it's not taken away. Like, I'm not taking away from my own importance. You know what I'm saying? It's just like knowing how to gauge the scale of like, all right, let me chill the fuck out a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I guess that would be like me being humble is by me just sometimes chilling out. Like, like you don't always have to be, I guess, in the forefront, or you know what I mean? Like,
see, and I could have used the words appreciative as opposed to humble, right? Because you have to be appreciative before you can receive something to be appreciative, right? So when I came in, I said, it's definitely perspective based. So I just put that out there, right?
Right.
Knowing that what is is an abundance, and the fact that you have access to it whenever you're truly ready. So the prayer part, and then I said, is a great feeling. So we can just say, I'm humbled knowing that I got this shit just right here, and I can just grab it right there and bring it into this reality.
Right.
So it's not like, oh shit, I need to humble myself down, and it ain't on that type of energy.
Yeah. Right.
But
Right.
But I know sometimes when I post it, if I was to post it how I wanted to post it, niggas be like, all right, this nigga Woon talking in tongues and shit.
Huh.
So I was trying to give it to where people can receive it without taking it hella places and shit. You feel me?
Honored, not humbled. Right.
Honored. Thank you. I appreciate that. But
What do you think, Maya? What you think?
I'm sorry. I don't know. To me, humble means to like not, I guess, exalt yourself over something that should be more important. That's how I look at it. It's like you bring yourself to like not, and I'm not gonna say this in a bad way, but like don't like bring yourself to a lower standard is what that means to me. Like then, because like when I think of the word humble, I also think of the word prideful. Everything that prideful is, humble is not, if that makes sense. So like think about everything that prideful is and then just think of the opposite of that, and that's what humble is. Prideful is like making yourself better than somebody else, or um thinking that you got it better than somebody else, or being arrogant, being smart at the mouth, like thinking that your opinions and your thoughts are the only thing that matters. Like that's the opposite of humble. Humble is like being willing to like accept where you're wrong. I guess it kind of like goes in partnership with taking accountability, and like it has to do with integrity, being honest, being responsible. I don't know.
Nah, you
Like,
right on point with that, and I think that was the driving factor behind Gigi's response, because I think later on in the conversation between him and Lovejoy or Goddess Divine, he was saying like, because if you're not humbled in that way, then you're going to get into that egoic, he said he used a word, and he said like Luciferian type of prideful energy type shit, like, you know what I mean, as opposed to just saying it's cool, I accept it, as opposed to nigga, it's mine and I'm gonna take it. You feel me? So it just depends, I guess, on how people receive it for real.
Right.
receive what though? What was the basis of the conversation? Like, you got to give me context.
Well,
Because I don't.
just basically when dealing with prayer, like, do you humble yourself down before you pray?
Yeah, of course.
And then are you
Why wouldn't I? I'm not gonna sit there and see. Here's the thing, though. When you pray, it's like you can't think that you better than the person or the higher power that you pray into. Like, I'm gonna just say it like that, because when I pray to God, I don't be like, oh, I'm better than you, but I'm gonna ask you for something. That's not how it works. You can't think that you better than somebody you asking help for. Because then
that was his point.
Like, there's no point in you asking for help.
Hey, wow, that's so good that you said that, because that reminded me of the fact that everybody knows something that somebody don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So each one teach, one share. You know what I mean? It's like assembly line, except for evenly. You know what I mean?
Got you, yeah.
Right.
And that's what's to Little Six. I appreciate you for tapping in with us. That's
For
little
sure.
cousin right there. What's
Listen, man.
What's good with Shy T? I see you got your introducing Shy T and shit too. Y'all know he a regular on this thing now. What's good, Shy?
Yes, sir.
All good, man. I'm just in and out right quick again. I'm wrapping up what I had doing, but I do want to say peace and blessings to the host and peace and blessings to the chat. I want to ask Sis a question right quick. You.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't want to sound disrespectful. What's your name, Sis? Maya. My question to you. You're the one that's you was on last week and the week prior too, right?
Yeah.
All good. And you said you study, or you've been looking up all the different cultures and different gods and different religions.
Oh no,
that was
not me.
that was Rainy. She's supposed to be, I believe she's supposed to be pulling up.
She's gonna pull
up. Okay.
But yeah, she's not in here right now.
All good. All good. So I got it mixed up. So I'm gonna go back to listening, and I'll be back in 10, 15 minutes.
All good,
Definitely.
man. All
All
good.
good. Shalom.
Yeah. So and again, Mike, that's a great point because it's a different perspective, and I think that I guess depending on where you're at, just like again, like I said, I really don't pray like that because I think that everything that I do would be a prayer. Every time that I move, everything that I do is just moving around in the universe. So if we talk about praying, that's why I could be cocky and shit, and sometimes I do get cocky, but I only get cocky in my spirit time. I only get cocky with my humbleness, like if that makes sense, like you know what I mean. So on
Mm.
that side,
Well, that's kind of
Um, I think
contradictory.
I
nah, I
think
get cocky in my humbleness. That's lit.
right. Oh,
But like
I was
that don't
going.
make sense
I
though.
was.
That's
I was
whoa.
going.
See, that's why I can't talk like that because it'll go over people's heads.
Hey, look.
Nah, you just don't make
Hey,
sense, bro.
well, I feel like in between you two, lady, sis, you feel me? Like, cause what I came to the conclusion of is like kind of, cause you don't want to kill your spark from people saying don't be prideful like you saying, sis. You don't want to kill your spark. You feel me? So
Mm.
be be cocky humbly, which means be cocky within. You know what I mean? Be cocky
That's
within,
what I'm
but
saying.
humble without. Humble without.
Right.
So you mean like outwardly be
Yep. But in
humble?
your mind, be
Like
cocky though, and lock that in like a key.
Mm.
Exactly.
that don't make sense though. I mean, are you trying to say like
You like
okay,
so
see, like what it sounds like to me is like you trying to say have
You're
confidence,
have
bridging
like
that
confidence,
gap.
about
but
yourself,
but
Yeah, but you ain't got
but
to
also
shit
be
on
humble.
nobody. Like
you
you
ain't got
could
yeah.
you could know that okay, within you could know you feel me like okay, yeah, I'm him. But on the outside being when you present it, it doesn't have to come off like you better than everybody else and you know what I'm saying?
So
Yeah. So
being confident.
sorry, go
Oh,
ahead.
go ahead, go ahead.
Uh-huh. No, go ahead. I was
Okay, being
listening.
confident. Confidence is so much more easier to be broken than cockiness. You know what I
Not
mean? Cause
really.
spirit,
Not not if you don't.
like, cause,
Not if you don't allow
Yeah, you
anybody
gotta elaborate on
to
that
cause,
break
one.
like,
it.
I want
like, cause that's why the two words is two different words to begin with. Confidence and cockiness. Like, don't be cocky. But in your head, you want to know that. In your head, in your mind, in your spirit, you want to know, like, I got this. I'm just not going to outwardly say I got it because I don't want to shit on nobody or make nobody feel uncomfortable. You feel me? But I know I got it. So I'm
Hmm.
cocky. You feel me? And like, I got this. But I'm not going to be like that outwardly because we know that
So then you
being
confident.
co-
That's what it sounds like to me. Not cocky, you confident because cocky would be like the same thing as being prideful. That's the way I look at it, though.
right. So
I mean, I don't know if you guys
definitely
take
be
it that way, but
prideful.
that's how I
Definitely
take it.
be prideful within and humble
But
outwardly for sure.
like whatever is in you is gonna come out of you, though. That's what I'm saying, though. So it's like whatever you got inside, basically, like uh, not to get all biblical, but there's a verse in the Bible that you can apply to like real life. It says I forgot the exact verse, so I'm not going to quote it word for word, but it says out of the abundance of the heart the mouth speaketh. And so basically it's saying that like whatever is in you is going to come out, like however you are inside is how you're going to be outside, you know. Like you can be a certain way outwardly to people, but ultimately whatever like whatever you feel inside is going to show, if
Facts.
that
Yeah.
makes sense. So it's like you be confident, you know, don't be
Right.
cocky, because then that's gonna come
Right.
out, and people are gonna be like, "Oh, he's arrogant as hell." Like he's prideful. He's this. He's that. Don't be like that, but be confident about yourself. You know, be humble, but be confident.
That's real. That's real.
That's what I'm saying. Not be cocky, because cocky is like being
Right.
prideful. It's like being arrogant, thinking that you better than everybody else. Like, yeah, you could be like, yeah, you know, I'm great. I got this. I could take care of my bills. I got, you know, a nice car. I got a nice house. You know, I got it like that. I have it. You know, I'm solid. I got myself. But then, you know, other people, like if you be like, oh, I'm cocky, you know, and I know that about myself, like, that's like, I don't know how to explain
Not.
that. That's more like, oh, he's arrogant, you know?
Yeah. Most.
Like, oh, he think he better than me because he has this or has that, or he, you know, got it like that from what he says.
Most deaf.
So
Nah, yeah, that's real right there for sure. Yeah. No, I was gonna say because when you mentioned like basically what would be the difference from confidence coming in, and if that's a question that was on the tip of my tongue, basically like the difference from confidence and cocky though, like for real. Cause like
the difference
yeah,
between
yep,
confidence
the
and cocky?
difference.
Confidence,
Or
you
or
you basically it's like you're
yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
on if you could explain like the same way you was, but also add in the measurement. Like, is it a thin line like between love and
It
hate,
is. It
or is it
is.
not a thin
I
line like
mean,
cocky and confidence?
just real quick to kind of bridge this gap.
Mm,
Uh, I just looked up the definition of cocky. Um, and it says someone who is cocky is so confident and sure of their abilities that they annoy other people. So, in a sense, what you saying, Lil Six, as far as being cocky, I mean, being confident is a part of
mhm.
being cocky, right? It's just the
Yeah,
aspect
but
of
it's
it's
to
the
a
aspect
greater
of
extent though.
when you're cocky, like how you were saying, you could be cocky within here, just don't allow it
Uh,
to annoy somebody else. Ultimately,
Don't
so
allow don't allow to leave the inside. You know what I mean?
exactly, because you're so confident within. Sometimes it could protrude out, and you could start annoying people because you like, I'm the shit, whatever, whoop, 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 right? But if
mhm.
you just don't allow it to annoy somebody, then you would just be still. It would just be like an overly confident.
Right.
She
Okay.
said Kobe
Exactly.
was
Okay.
cocky.
That's good. That's wrong. I was gonna say 260 will coming like because I feel like in a world that we what I mean, a lot of people these days or not even just a lot of people don't even know themselves from the
Mm,
heart or this or that. So like kind of where I was speaking of like when I was saying like confidence and cocky is like what I mean? Because a lot of people from within can't portray outwardly because they don't even know what's inside them from the gate. Whether they grew up in,
but like
without or don't even know themselves.
no, I understand. I get what you're saying, but like ultimately it's like you gotta kind of like look at people's like behaviors and how they move, like what kind of person they are, and that'll show you like who they are. Because yeah, although they consciously may not know, what they want or or what kind of person they want to be or who they're trying to be, but like whatever, like I said, like whatever's in you, it'll come out, like it'll show.
And two, I think that. Oh,
Like
my bad. Were you keep going? I didn't know you was.
sorry, I'm almost done. Like I was gonna say, like Self-Made, you could tell that he has like a sort of confidence about himself because it shows. He's very confident in the things that he says. He doesn't, go back on go back on his words. Like he's very like slow to speak. Like he thinks about what he says before he says it. You could tell Woon has a confidence. Everybody on this panel has a confidence about what they say. Like you could see it. Like when you could tell when somebody's not confident about themselves, like just by the way that they act, what they say, how they are, just even down to the body language. Like it could be nonverbal stuff. Like that's why like it don't have to be, what you say. You don't have to consciously know what kind of person you are or what kind of person you want to be.
Because it's gone right.
You know,
That's wrong. Because like it's
it's
already
already
gonna do
yeah,
its
you already
thing.
gonna
It's already
I
going.
think too, though.
Mhm.
Sometimes, uh, if you display your confidence about yourself, it could come off to other people as cocky. You know what I mean? Like,
Fact.
like you could
Yeah,
be so
I
confident
understand that.
about your abilities and the things that you do that to
Uh-huh.
somebody on the outside who may not be as confident as you or about their own abilities may look at you and be like, "Oh, look at this cocky motherfucker! Like he think he could just do it and do it." Just because from their perspective, they're not in that position yet. You know what I mean? So
Fact.
I think
No, I
that
get it.
that also can get misconstrued because there's a lot of people that are confident, but they ain't gonna shit on you. They're just talking about they self. You know what I mean?
No, I get it. That's why I think like there's a sorry, Sharti, sorry, 1 second, I'm sorry. That's why I think that there's a difference between confidence and being cocky because yes, confidence does have a lot to do with being cocky, but I feel like confidence is where you know you got it. Like, and when I say got it, like you're you're sure about yourself. Like you know that you got it unlocked, that you're in tune with yourself, all this other stuff. But cocky is like you being confident, like to the point of arrogance. If that makes sense.
We got a comment real quick from Glow. She said, I've always said it ain't cockiness, it's confidence, because you got to be humble about it to really understand. Thin line. Most will take it as arrogance too. Hey, y'all, got y'all in the background. Peace, peace, peace. We see you.
Okay,
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I got a question. You know, if there was a word to sum up cockiness and humble in one, what would it be then?
Cockiness and humble.
Yeah, what would that word equal out to? If we could find the
Those
closest
words
word.
don't go together.
Wait, did you say cocky and confident or cocky and humble?
No,
cocky and humble?
Cocky and humble, or confidence and humble.
Lit. Lit. And the reason why I choose the word lit is because am I supposed to dim my light? Right?
Nope.
Am I supposed to dim it?
Nah.
Can't look, but look, can if I'm a candle for real, and can I light somebody else's candle with my litness and then now they lit?
Facts, yeah.
So am I being cocky if you're able to? I don't know, man. They get a little tricky, man.
What you think, Shai T? I see you got your hand up,
What
man.
you
What you got?
I think if we going off the definition of cocky, or then we gotta can everything, because somebody's gonna always be in their feelings about your success, especially when they feeling some type of way about themselves. No matter what I do or how I say it, it's gonna offend somebody. Somebody's gonna be offended. Somebody's gonna be in their feelings. But like Woon said, I can't stop my shine, and because again, I'm also helping other people shine. I'm also amongst other people's shine. So if I got to dim my light to make you feel better, I'm not willing to do that. Because
Right.
I'm a leader. Because I'm a leader and I lead leaders. So if I dim my light, then those leaders that I'm trying to lead, they have to dim their light, and that's unfair to us. So you can be in your feelings.
Right.
Right.
It's tricky.
And we got Mike in the building, and we got Nashai in the building, man. Peace to y'all.
Peace, man.
Peace was good.
Let me see. I want to go back to that question too. That what's her name? God is divine. Asked. She said, was Jesus humble or was he loud and proud about his greatness? He. I mean, from what I read in the Bible, he was humble. He never liked anybody. Like when he used to like because there is instances where he would be like, oh, he would like heal somebody and he would tell him like, don't. Like only I forgot, I can't like quote it word for word because I don't remember everything. I haven't read the Bible in a long time, but from what I did read, I think he said just to tell like whoever it was that he healed, he just said to like tell their family, I think. I'm not sure. But he didn't want it like well known that he was like going around healing people.
No, there is a
or
verse
like people.
Nashai, it looked like you had something you wanted to say. I don't know if you on mute or
can you hear me?
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I can hear you.
Hey, peace. The brother kind of checked in on it when he said like humble is gonna be dependent on one's perspective. And often when I hear people talk about Christ and the Bible, they have this image of him being very docile or passive, which is not really what you see in the text. It's what you see being portrayed in general church congregations. What you see in the text is him calling people out, going against the grain. Even at one point, he made a whip himself and beat everyone out of the temple. And so it's really going to depend on what side of the line you are, how you feel about someone's confidence or ability or boldness or audacity. There's like a lot of different words you could place in there, but I don't generally believe in the peace and love all the time. Christ said he didn't come to bring peace; he came to bring a sword. So humbleness is going to really come down to others' perspectives.
Right.
What you
I
think,
Go
oh
think
ahead,
six?
Six.
I think if I'm still hanging on the question correctly 100%, I think that Jesus was humble, but his actions
Hmm?
were overly confident, and overly cockiness. But he was humble.
Mm.
What do
Right.
you mean by
I
overly?
think I think when
Well, what's the definition of humble? Can somebody pull up the definition of humble?
I mean,
I
he didn't
did.
have to say much
Yeah, someone say Reddit a
I'll
little
pull it
bit
up
ago.
giving
again.
fruit off his tongue or giving fruit off his mouth. You know,
'Cause
that's the only thing that he outside of humbleness. You know what I
don't the
mean? And
definition of humble means like look down on myself or talk bad on myself or think I'm less than or something of that sort?
No,
I
no,
don't
no, no.
think I
I
would
got
ever
you. I
do
got you.
that.
I
No.
got you. It's right here.
right.
So
Ooh.
close, it was a little
humble
close to
is
that.
No,
having
it
or
wasn't.
showing a modest or low estimate of one's own importance.
I ain't doing that. I'm
See,
that
I don't
nigga.
believe that that's probably the best definition. I know that's what Google's pulling up,
Let me
but
see. I'll go to it. I'll go to a different one.
humble to
Okay,
me
this
is
one
when you have
says
the power to judge something or execute
I
authority
like
over
this one
something,
right
but
here.
you
This is
don't.
from Merriam-Webster.
Wait.
It says not proud or haughty, not arrogant or assertive.
Yeah, you
Uh
don't.
Yeah.
It's when you don't assert the authority or power that you have.
Verbally, right? Or whatever sort is.
Well, assert just means like you don't force your will. The opposite of force is meekness or humbleness.
Because
So when it
humbleness, I mean,
says
Yeah.
could you be humble with your actions and with your basically right with your verbal too? Then
You
like,
can, but that's still gonna generally
how separate
depend
is that
on
though?
the people who are receiving your words.
exactly, that's what it's gonna come down to for the people who's receiving it.
Because I could be
Right.
nice.
Okay.
There's all kinds of nice ways I could tell
Yeah.
people about how I feel about them. But if it's really striking at the heart of who they are, they're never gonna feel like you're being humble towards them.
So when we talk about not being proud of yourself, what does that look like? You can only be proud.
I know that right there is like
Um.
I'm
no.
proud of myself. I don't give a fuck what's going on.
Um.
Right.
I don't think it's meant in that term, like in that
I got a
meaning.
question.
Like the
Okay.
way that you're proud
What's up?
about yourself, I don't think it means like that.
That's
Constructive
see, that,
criticism or humble? Constructive
What?
criticism or be humble?
You gotta
see,
choose.
What do
see,
you mean? What are
right
you trying to
there.
ask?
See, right there. That's another
T-
duality that you
Controversy.
got to look at. Because
Yeah.
what is constructive criticism to somebody who can't say a no?
Right.
They
Right.
can't. They can't
then
construct
that
within.
sounds
They
like
can't
a
construct it within themselves.
PP. That's a personal problem. That's what that sounds like. If you can't take constructive criticism, that's something that you need to
Right.
work on.
right.
Right.
That has nothing to do with
So from everybody being a leader, right, within themselves, when it comes to a time of giving constructive criticism or being humble, you have to choose within of who you're dealing with. Like you
Hmm.
said, Miss Sadie, you got to know who you're dealing with,
Yeah,
basically.
that's a
Yeah.
fact.
But you don't really. I mean, you can know or you can just not care. Because you can have pride in what you're saying, remain humble in your speech, and not care because that's you.
Right.
I think that's the
I
answer
mean,
right
I
there.
pulled up
Decide
the
if you don't give a fuck about what nobody thinks about what you say, you're a cocky asshole.
Why is that?
Hey, wait. Only if it's displayed, because you could in one ear out the other, but make it seem like, oh yeah, I hear what you're saying, and then keep on going with your motherfucking day as if none of that shit registered at all. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's kind of like playing that, playing the game. It's like from their perspective, it's like, oh yeah, he heard me, he understands everything I'm saying, but then you still just you on your own type of time. You know what I'm saying? You ain't worried about what bro was talking about or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So
I I looked up like what the meaning is of a humble person. And Collins Dictionary, it says a humble person is not proud and does not believe that they are better than other people. So that's more so what I was speaking about when you were like asking Woon what humble means to me. It's like you don't feel like you're better than somebody else. Like when you go to pray to whoever you're praying to. Like that's why I said like you can't sit there and think that you better than whoever you trying to ask for help from, because and at that point it's like what are you asking for?
See,
And so
and
that's what I was talking about. Like being humble is thinking that you're
nah,
not like it's like dropping yourself down to like a more like what is that called? I don't. It's not submissive, and it's not.
Kind
It's
Meek.
like
see because when you
I.
say that, right?
Not really.
When you say that you're not better than, that does not mean that you're not aligned with, right? So you could say I'm just aligning with this shit.
What do you mean? You got to elaborate on that.
Okay, so in my
Aligned with what?
because when they were God is Divine and GGFX was going back and forth, I found the sweet spot just to say, okay, well, if we know that everything is in abundance, right, and you got access to it, the only thing you're doing is getting that access to what's out there, right? So you don't have to say I'm better than or lower than to get it. You're just going to go get it, like you know what I mean. So sometimes people say that you got to humble yourself and be in a lower position when no, that's not true because I know that I can go grab it because it's right there for me. Who else is it for? It's for me. So I don't need to bring myself down, but I will go out there and go get it. So it's not a begging factor. It's not an asking factor. It's me just going to go get it. That's all it is to me.
Yeah.
Right. If that's the case, and
Ooh.
none of us is humble, right? I mean,
Hey,
Woon asked
see,
the question the other day. Who's the realest nigga you ever met?
hey, so look
Exactly.
hey,
Hey,
look,
I still ain't
Nobody's
answered that
better than
question.
me.
to that question, and this kind of the reason why I had mentioned, like, when you be humble, be cocky
Hmm.
up here and lock it in, right? Because you know, a lot of the time, being humble is like Miss H said, or what we was kind of on in that direction, being the opposite of cockiness, right? So being humble is the opposite of cockiness. So it's like at least if you lock it in, because a lot of the times when you being cocky, it's he knows so much and blah. But being humble, you know what I mean, is not allowing you to share it. So, but the importance of what they were labeling you as being cocky of what you was gonna say, you still need to lock in your head. You still need to lock that in your head. You just didn't let it come out because it would have been you knowing too much, you being cocky. So you know what I mean?
No, it's just like it's more in the sense of like not allowing yourself to like it says like that definition. It's like not allowing yourself to appear better than other people. Like that's all it is, really. This is literally all it is. It's like yeah, you could be confident about yourself, have all your knowledge and lock and key, whatever you want to do, but like just don't,
Appear is crazy
you
though.
know.
That word
Don't,
appear is
Yeah,
crazy.
because it's that right there automatically puts it into a perspective base. So
Exactly.
that's just kind of based off of
What do you mean
You
perspective
say
based? It's
appear to
like
be.
because like you could be like, oh yeah, you could be like, oh yeah, I'm confident about myself, but like,
no. I'm saying
if
like
you be
if
cocky, it's like,
somebody does okay, so for instance, if somebody is doing what you're deeming as cocky, right? But from their perspective, they're just being confident about the things that they got going on. That's the disconnect right there. You're looking at it from a cocky standpoint. They're looking at it from I'm just confident about myself. You know what I mean? It may come off a certain type of way to you based off of wherever you're at, you know what I'm saying, mentally, physically, spiritually. But at the end of the day, for them, it's confidence. You know what I'm
mhm.
saying?
Or
I mean,
even
yeah, I
natural.
agree with, I understand
Or
what you're saying.
natural,
I
right,
mean, I
right.
don't,
It's
I
just
don't
like
Yeah,
a
because when
be,
you
natural
say
thing coming
if we
out.
say natural, now it's just like imagine everybody on this panel right now got some money, and then
I
we
see
get
you,
to
Mario.
shy,
I see you.
then we get to Shy T and Mari, and them niggas ain't got no money. And we over here baking bread, we throwing big parties and shit. Them niggas over there like, look at them niggas over there flexing. No,
Right,
we're just living right now, my boo. Like
right.
we're not flexing, we're just living naturally doing what we do, but it may appear to be like we're flexing in front of y'all, but we're not. So that's when it gets a little tricky and shit.
What's up, Mari?
I'll just first off, what's up to everybody, man? I just wanted to give my opinion on the topic. Uh when I hear humble, I believe it's keeping yourself open to edification. So you might feel confident, you should feel confident in yourself and whatever you're saying, but you don't want to be so proud and high that you're not open to being teachable and approachable. That's what I hear
and
when I hear
hmm.
humble.
that's crazy because
There you go. That's a better way to
what I was
explain it.
just thinking literally, and that's on point because literally what I was finna say is, you know, cockiness is when can't nobody else be right but you.
Mhm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's the only thing I really wanted to say. Other than that, I mean, I just think, just really, like I said, being, especially in this setting with everybody talking, we all kind of got like different belief systems. But I was listening to Malcolm X talk like the last couple of days, and a lot of what he was saying was really resonating with me as far as like him being able to unify with people who have a different belief system than him. Because so many times we're trained to like focus on stuff that's divides us, but if we realize like we kind of all have a common enemy, which is ourselves, if that makes sense.
The inner me.
Poverty. No, I'm
Well,
just kidding.
the inner you, exactly. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? Because a lot of times it's our own flesh that causes us to be in situations that we're in, if that makes sense. So
You know,
if
that makes,
go ahead, I don't want to interrupt you. Go ahead.
no, that makes sense. I was agreeing with you. Go ahead. You got
Oh
it.
yeah. But I just think like as far as um not trying to focus so much on the physical aspect of things, but just really trying to align with each other and trying to like progress, like see where do we actually agree on things, and then how do we build on that. Like I think it's real dope to like go over history and shit, and like I was talking to Shy earlier, and I was trying to tell him a little about some history that I learned. He was asking me like, what's the significance of that today? Well, I think it's so important to know about what's happening in history, so because everything is happening over and over and over and again. So if we understand the past, then we could approach stuff differently in the future, in the present day. It's the same thing as like if you're playing sports, and you play, everybody in here probably gonna play some type of sports. Well, you're gonna review your film in order to have a better game next game, so you're prepped for your opponent. So it's the same thing in life. So.
And see, that's and real quick, I just want to cause Self on my side, I can't see the chat. So if the chat is live right now, I just now saw something on Facebook, but my whole shit is like shot on this side.
Right.
If we want to acknowledge the chat for sure.
Yeah, we can go. We could
here.
yeah, I could read a couple of them. Dre in the building. What's up with Dre, man? He said being humble is something losers came up with in an attempt to get winners to stop bragging about winning. We got Valley Uno in the building. What's up with the God? He said, I think it's all the same energy, just on different ends of the spectrum. Whichever extreme end of the frequency is vibrating higher is what will likely be picked up by other people.
Ooh,
Peace to the gods.
See, okay, well, let me say something or ask that both the panel and the chat. So, if we're humble for the, because we're talking about humble, if we're humble in the spirit, or even let me say confident in the spirit, but the only means that we have to express ourselves is through the physical, and every time that can be looked at as something else, can we really separate the two to where we can never not offend anybody, or is every time we try to express ourselves in a confident way?
You can't please everybody, man. You can't.
And sometimes your confidence is going to offend other people because their insecurity won't allow them to accept how confident you are.
Exactly.
See, and that's what
we were saying. Yeah.
Is the spirit damn, that's crazy. You just now said that, because what they're thinking may be driven by the ego from the cocky, confident perspective, is their ego telling them that they're not what we are, or that what they're seeing us have or be or do.
See, and that the thing about it is, it doesn't even, like, I know we're using the words humble and cocky and confident and all of that, right? But like we could shift that into like what you were saying, Mario, as far as sports. If I'm over here running a 4 flat and you got cats that can't even run a 4.3 or 4.4, you know what I'm saying? Like that might make them like less confident in their ability to do the sport, or to do, you know what I mean? Even to feel confident as far as playing the sport with somebody like that. Like, man, this dude got me looking crazy out here. I ain't doing nothing that he do. That, you know what I'm saying? So it's almost like this comparing aspect of self. Like when you get to that point of just being one with self, like really like tapped in with self to know, like, you know what? I don't care how he's moving. I'm still confident in what I'm doing, regardless of the levels that it's at. Then that's when you'll be, you know what I'm saying? I feel like that's when you'll stop looking outwardly to have somebody else verify your own abilities as far as what makes you confident and shit.
Real quick, Maureen, I know you got your hand up on YouTube, Little Six. I made a post about what you just now said, and I said, as long as you continue to weigh yourself on somebody else's scale, you're always going to come up with the wrong weight.
Right.
Weight being weight, and weight being putting your own shit on pause.
Right.
Boy.
Go ahead, y'all. Go ahead, Maury.
Whoever got it next, Maury, and then Little Six.
Well, I was just gonna say, you got to be able to zoom out of yourself and realize that comparison is a thief of joy. So what's for you is for you, and what's for that other person is for that other person. It's really, you know, we all have different titles, but it's really God's speed. So can't no man, it might look like in the physical that somebody's shutting down the opportunity or whatever, but no man could close the door that God opened for you. You know what I mean? So it's like, you get so focused on what this guy over here is doing, but it's like he's dealing with a whole different deck of cards than you. You know what I mean? And
Right.
what it outwardly looks like, it might be looking like he's winning on the outside, but really inside, he might want to kill himself when he goes home, or he's crying himself to sleep every night. But you looking at it from the physical of, oh, this nigga got a clean ass car, he on here flashing, he iced up. But really, our gifts here ain't really physical. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Gotcha.
Go ahead, Sticks. I think you on mute, my boy. He gonna have to come back in.
Well, yeah, damn, that's crazy, because it's just like, you damned if you do, damned if you don't, huh? I'd rather do than don't. Like, on some real type of time,
real shit. That's why I say you can't really, like, you could, at the end of the day, you're doing what you want to do. If you want to take in, observe the other people that's doing, like you said, weigh yourself on somebody else's scale. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But then when you start to, I guess, feel some type of way about what that other person can do, then that's where, you feel me, it gets tricky. Yeah, but like how you were saying, Maury, like being open to learn, from other people and all of that type of stuff. That's, ain't nothing wrong with that. But as soon as you start comparing where they're at versus where you're at, I feel like that's when, you know what I mean, the lines get blurred for sure.
I was gonna say, like, I agree with that, but then also it's like, even when it comes to opportunities, I know we've all had friends or people that we've been around that say things like, they'll compare themselves to somebody, be like, oh, well, this person could do it, or this person did X, Y, and Z, and I did the same thing, and I'm not getting the same results. But I like to say this thing, this little quote that I heard, rejection is God's protection. And at the time of things happening and not happening on your speed, you might think like, oh damn, like, why is it like this, or why am I so unlucky? But then you might be able to zoom out, and 6 months from now you can see like, oh damn, if I was doing X, Y, and Z, I might have really put myself in a bad situation, or I didn't know this was going to be like this. Something good happened out of a terrible situation, but we're so trained to look at instant gratification that we're not able to zoom out of our situation sometimes.
Instant gratification. And that's why you gotta just be in it at all times, for real. You gotta be in there. And when I say that, I'm just saying, just like, know everything is on divine time, and just know that
right.
Type shit.
Can I be heard right now?
You good.
Yeah, you good. Okay. No, you good.
Well, hey, what I did want to say for, and I just missed a lot, but due to this, whatever's going on. So it was raw, especially carrying back off of what Mario just said, or if I'm correct on your name, my bad. But you know, these days, or not these days, it's like caring is like a sickness, right? Because at that point in this discussion, caring is like a sickness because you never want to outdo anybody else. Caring.
Right.
It's
Damn,
like,
that's
but
crazy.
for this discussion, it's like a sickness stuff for real.
Mm.
Damn, that shit. And see, when it comes down to that, you know, because again, it's just like me personally. I'm the type of person, if I see somebody doing quote unquote better than me, I don't. It's not that I think that they're doing better than me. I see them doing they fucking Dougie, right? So
Right,
it's just like
exactly.
I see them doing their shit. I'm gonna do my shit. Like, you know what I mean? And that's the type of attitude that I have personally. Just like, and I don't give a fuck what it is. I could just be walking down the street and I'm just walking, trying to get my workout in, and I see a little ant, that little motherfucker moving. I'm like, bro, I need to step my shit up. And it's just something just that small that I could get motivated from just in that instance and be like, okay, yeah, it's lit like that. But again, I guess it just depends on what type of person you are, what going back to what self thing is, you know, you got to tap in with self to know thyself. Like, you know what I mean? And if you're looking outwardly, then you're always going to see something that's not what they say, the grass is greener and shit.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
water yourself. Like, you know what I mean? How come you ain't watering yourself type shit?
Right.
Yep. Hey, man. What for real? Hey, that's why. Hey, not and for real. And, hey, as like a, you know, as a whole, just and a lot of times, you know what I mean. Like people learn. I learn as I go. I'm pretty sure everybody do, but it's like, of course, you know, you have to, but ain't no choice. But it's like, you know, as a whole, basically, you know, pick somebody up is so important. Period, bro.
Facts.
You know what I mean? And sometimes you pick somebody up, you gotta sometimes you gotta let them know why.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta let them know, hey, bro, you just a part of evolution. Like, god damn, brother, you could be doing something better than this. And I got a position for you. Just to, ooh, it's not even I even care. I got something better that you could do on your time. This work for me.
Right.
You know, I don't lay you like my own child, but sir, it's evolution. Come on.
Yeah, and see, even that, and I understand what you're saying fully. Even that gets dangerous, right? Because sometimes people
Right.
need to be where they want to be at in their own space. And if you come, imagine somebody dead to the world sleep, and you come in, opening up all the curtains and shit, got a flashlight on them. They like, hold on, bro, like nigga, get the fuck out my room, type. Like, you know what I mean? Because it's just like you're not
Right.
ready for it yet, so you got to kind of
Yeah.
creep around the situation and
Hey.
shit. You feel me? Other than that, they're bound to fucking shoot you. Bound to fight you, bound to stab you. They bound to get the fuck out my space. They're trying to protect themselves because they're not ready for it yet. Which is why if we look at nature, like the seeds that before they are groundbreaking and touch the fucking light and come into this world, even babies, they're in darkness.
They gotta go through the dark.
Yeah, they gotta get in the darkness first, and they have to understand what that process is. We can't see none of that shit, right? We only see that shit when it's groundbreaking,
And it's
and then
sprouting, yeah.
everything, you know, blossom out. But other than that, all the work is happening in darkness. So sometimes it's cool to, like, you know, let people be in their own darkness. But when you see them have just a shimmer of light, and you be like, okay, I see you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, imagine somebody's like in a fucking desert and they stranded, but they got like some type of little reflection. You be like, oh, I see the light. The beam is lit. Like, you know what I mean? So now I'm gonna come to your aid and I'm gonna come help you. But other than that, sometimes you just gotta let people be where they at too. It get a little tricky, but I understand what you're saying fully.
That was A1.
Go ahead, Mari.
And I think it's also seeing and thinking about like what message you're trying to convey and who you're speaking with. You have to speak in terms of that person. And I know for me, I can speak about my experience just with getting more into the Bible. I was real passionate about it, and I kind of like stuff that I knew to be true. I don't want to force it on people or argue with them. But like I was just saying, you got to realize like what the ultimate goal is. And if I'm trying to convey a message, I can't force something on you. I have to let conversations happen organically. So it's like, maybe it's not the time to just bring that shit up when we're kicking it and having fun, but maybe when the topic comes up, I don't make you feel like so convicted of it, but this is why I do X, Y, and Z, and this is how I got to this conclusion. And understanding that it's not on me to convince you, but it's just on me to plant the seed. So like we were talking about last time, no matter what our belief system is, like Josh was saying, many of the books say the same thing. Well, from my understanding of what I subscribe to, is the best thing that I could do is sometimes I'm not gonna be able to tell a person in John 1 verse 2 it says X, Y, and Z because that would turn them off. But instead, maybe I'm just showing them or telling them in my words, but I'm being that light to them or that conduit, because that's pretty much everything that I feel like that I'm doing. God's just using me as a conduit. So that's kind of like that humble approach in my mentality of like, okay, this ain't coming from me. God is just using me.
Exactly.
If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
This ain't coming from Mari.
Yeah.
Because I don't really want to tell my grandma that I don't think we should be celebrating Easter. And I'm not just going to just see her celebrating Easter and automatically be like, oh, you're wrong for this, you're wrong for that. Because at the end of the day, like, I sin, I do a lot of stuff that's wrong too. So, but that makes sense, hopefully. I don't want to hold the mic too long.
That's my understanding of why they say that the Bible was inspired by God, right? Like, it's not me saying this.
Right.
It's God saying it.
And I think that was the frustrating part for me, though. It's like I'm having conversations with people, and it's like, well, people's ego get into it, right? People just don't want to believe something because you said it, right? They're like, oh, well, that's your opinion about the Bible. And I try to lean on, okay, well, it's not really my opinion. This is what I interpret that God is saying. So I'm gonna take you to over here, and this is why I believe this way. You know what I'm saying? Not oh, you gotta listen to what I'm saying. And to me, that's what a lot of people are hearing. They're hearing the ego aspect of it.
Right. They're hearing the cocky or whatever, the arrogance. Right. What and you know, based off, you know, what you just offered too, and that's raw. So it's lit. So look, you know, the Bible perception or whatever, or any type of religion, right? Whatever. Now, I'm not saying nothing. I'm not asking it as a question. I'm just playing the seed, like it was raw. That's what I'm saying. It's raw. I'm just playing the seed. I ain't saying nothing. But can we imagine the world without if everything that we was on right now, the topic, if it manifested to real life? Can we imagine a world like that where there's no negativity, no violence, no negativity? That means take all the prisoners away. That means take all the blah blah blahs away. That means take all this away,
out of pocket.
and still have evolution going on. Can we imagine that? We just playing the seed though.
No, actually, no.
That couldn't happen. That couldn't happen.
So do we need something going on like a tornado? Like, do we need
the balance?
Yes, we do.
So
it's like everything.
When is everybody's God gonna conquer? When is everybody's God gonna conquer then? Like, for real. When is everybody's God gonna conquer? When there's no more human race anymore on Earth? That's when God's finally gonna come. Cause that's the only time it's gonna be no disaster.
With the race here, let's make sure we win it.
Or
whatever, right? Even taking it here to the book.
Even when you said the Noah's Ark, right? There was that got rid of, that was supposed to have got rid of all the wickedness and shit. But guess what happened? How did it come back in?
You feel me?
It's necessary.
It's necessary. It's all. I mean, it was in heaven as well. Like it's gonna be everywhere at all times. You know what I'm saying? That's just that's what it is.
That's not to double back, but that was while I was asking what we was talking about last show, Maury, when you was asking me about Christ being sacrificed, right? The good that he was just now talking about and the necessary evil, that's the sacrifice. So we can always have the evolution or expansion going on.
Exactly.
Right?
Wow.
So it didn't start with, because Jesus Christ didn't start off as a man. Jesus Christ started off in heaven, right?
Mm-hmm.
So even in heaven, there was already a beef that was there. So even when Adam and Eve was in the garden, they were in that Christ state. They knew no wrong, but then they had to understand what right and wrong. That's why they started
the knowledge of good and evil.
They had to understand good and evil, right? And then that's when the fall came. And then we got Satan that was in heaven, and he was like, "Nah, fuck that. I'm gonna go see what this other shit is about." And so it always comes down to that opposite happen to take place. And as soon as that opposite takes place, that's how the expansion happens. So it just depends on how people look at what makes things go. right? Because if it's just gonna stay stagnant, then nothing happens. Everything stays stagnant. Going back to your
Right.
question, what if everything was good? Well, fuck it, ain't nothing popping
Stagnancy.
in. Like, you know what I mean?
Stagnancy.
And I hate to say it like
Hey,
that, but that's when perspective comes in. But everything is still all good if we understand that what is not good helps the expansion, right? So it
Of
just
good.
depends on what
Right.
side of the, you know what I mean?
hey, that's so dope. Hey, that's lit. Hey, look, I just real quick, to carry on, 'cause I feel like, you just said, hey, that's why Jesus died for us. Period. For evolution, for to keep on going. Now, since we got that down packed, that's why Jesus died for us. Now, is eternal life basically heaven or hell? You know what I mean? Because he already died for us, so we can have this today. So we could be here in the flesh today. So eternal life gonna be when we pass for sure.
Right.
What's
And it's
heaven
just
like?
like
What is
so
death? What is death then? Eternal life. Like he died for us to be right here, right now in the flesh. Like, look,
right.
I'm here.
So do
Damn
you
me, I'm
take
here.
that so? And I'm not saying for you, but do people take that as in like, damn, everything is all bad, or do you say you want to know what? God is good all the time because this shit is lit. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
God good all the
Right.
time,
it
and
be
let's
bad.
enjoy this air that we breathing right now. What you mean? I ain't got a blunt. You taste that air?
Right.
We lit. What you mean?
What you had to say, Mario? I seen you with your hand up.
It was a question for everybody.
Yeah.
I believe, or it's more of a question, not what I believe. Do you guys think there will ever be a point to where all of us as a people could ascend to a point to where we, not every single person, but us as a majority will ascend to a point to where we just not killing each other and not seeing each other as, like I can be honest, bro. Like when everybody talks about like racist shit, I understand, but like I think everybody in this chat could agree. You'd be more scared when you see a group of niggas you don't know that's, you know what I'm saying, on some shit than any other group of people. So do you think we'll ever progress to a point to where we don't see each other as any animosity towards a nigga you don't know, and we ain't gonna just kill each other just cause no more? You know what I'm saying? It got it. You know what I mean?
Do you
Yeah,
mean
no, I'm
when
more
you
scared
say
of
us? Sorry, go ahead.
Well,
I'm
I
just
mean,
more scared of
mentally to where we have the
I'm playing.
emotional intelligence to know, like, I ain't just gonna kill a nigga because he stay in this neighborhood. You know what I'm saying?
What do you mean by us though? You mean like us as like colored people, us as like the black community, us as in just individuals? What do you mean?
Everything to
Human.
me, everything starts with the black
Period. For
people.
sure.
So you talking about black people? Like
Because at the end of the
everything?
day, everybody copies us. They dress like us. They want to talk like us. They want to walk like us. They want to run like us. So if we whatever
But
we
outside of
do,
our culture, outside of our culture though, other cultures still got their rates going up.
no, they got their
stuff.
own shit. But I'm saying
Right.
we got the most people that's trying to be like us. There's not too many black people that's trying to be like an Asian person. You get what I'm saying? But there's a lot of Asian people that's trying to emulate what black people is doing.
And honestly, for real, and that's what you said. So basically, even as a culture of black people, we kind of promote violence because we do it so much as well too, and we kind of make it look cool. We can even make a rap song about it.
So when we see
That's
an
the
Asian
question.
nigga that's rapping or doing something, we say he's quote unquote acting black. You know what I'm saying? We've allowed ignorance to be synonymous with black culture.
We allow negativity to make it a way of living. Like nigga,
We allowed that shit to
you
be
better find a
cool.
different way of living.
Cool to be dumb,
Like,
cool to not know shit, cool to talk stupid, cool to be stupid.
So what's your question?
Do you think will ever progress to ascend to a point to where most of us will understand, like, it ain't just, we just ain't gonna be out here killing each other and fucking seeing each other as enemies?
No.
Damn.
I think that it's bigger than culture. I think that it's bigger than because again, we're talking about humanity. We're talking about everything, and I hate to go here, that I just now said, like the necessary order. We are a reflection of that everything. So the positive and negative energy that's before the human, when everything was born, we still have that eternally and eternally. Right? So at some point in time, with yourself, I can only speak for me.
You kind of lagging.
probably only speak for you. So
You
okay,
lagging.
is my
Hold on. You like jumping your signal out. You might have to jump out and jump back in, bro.
That was my connection.
I know, me too. I was like, what's going on?
Oh, good. Can I just fill in the space until he jump back in? Do I? Oh shit!
Hey, we got Valley Uno in the building. Peace,
What's good with it?
man.
To answer the question, honestly, it's crazy that I do believe this, but I do believe that it's going to be a time where we're not gonna have to worry about at least our brothers killing us. I think that'll be an easy fix. Because again, if you kill anybody in the community, just like regular law, man, that stop snitching shit does not apply. You ain't out here tearing up the community and destroying us and keeping us down, and that not snitching shit has to get out the window. You kill somebody for any of these reasons here, other than protecting your family and protecting yourself, then you are going to be held accountable, and hopefully the message get through where
me ask
we
you.
don't have to do that no more and at least kill each other.
Let me
I
ask
honestly
you a
believe
question.
that we can't get to that point.
Let me ask you a question, right? Because when you go back in history, like what Mari was saying, you got to sometimes study your history to know how to better act, navigate the future or whatever, or your presence. Do you feel like in the past, in ancient times, that people were killing righteously?
I mean, again, I don't know everybody's individual story to even say that, because again, you can hear from one man and that's his perspective, and I hear from another man, I also hear his perspective. So I can't call that from each individual. I'm pretty sure some of them was justifiable and some of them wasn't. I'm pretty sure.
Right. Okay. Because I mean, certain you go back into certain, civilizations and stuff. They behead you for, messing with children or doing certain things. Like I feel like killing, like being that it's something that can be done, automatically grants it some sort of use to people and the society. You know what I'm saying? Or else
So
it
in other
can
words,
be.
you saying that it's cool to kill pedophiles?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like
I was just thinking, I agree.
I'm just saying in a sense of just killing in general, the fact that is something that can happen. You know what I'm saying? Like it's something we can do. It's not like if we did it, I'm gonna get struck by lightning and I'm getting took out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Everybody, all these negative things that we say we don't want to happen or whatever, it's been happening since the beginning of time, ultimately, is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? So I don't think that it's gonna ever change. Yeah, it may get better. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's gonna be how bad it is right now. Just motherfuckers out just riding by blocks and just lighting up the whole street and all that type of shit. But I feel like there's still going to be some sort of justified like reasonings as to why, you know what I'm saying? Even to this day, you could say like if somebody came in and just out of nowhere shot your brother or you know what I mean, just out of nowhere, a lot of people be on some retaliate. I gotta go get them now, you know what I'm saying? And that's what a lot of that shit is on anyway, but I don't think it's ever going to cease to exist. You know what I mean?
Can I weigh in on that right quick?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I thought that was a interesting question, and the way I took it, and correct me if I'm wrong, the way I took it, it was being posed as like directly toward Black people and the almost unwritten tension that exists between us. You know what I mean? And the lack of uh, like a unified mindset. You
Brotherly
know,
love.
Exactly. And when bruh asked the question, would it ever be a time where we get to a point where that's not the case? I think it is possible. but I think it comes down to we have to come away from the individualistic mindset about it and be focused more on like a union of the minds thing. So, like, I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. So yesterday I was out with some of my Mexican partners. They had something going on, and it was Mexicans from all over Sacramento, all pushing the same envelope, and it's all peace. I'm a black man. I'm out there. There was a couple other brothers that was invited out there, but when they pulled up, walked right past me and paid me zero attention. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, versus all the Mexicans that's out there is paying each other attention. As black men, we don't even acknowledge each other sometimes. You understand what I'm saying? So I think it's more than just looking at whether or not we have the ability to kill. There's really a fucked up mindset that exists among black men. And there's more of a likelihood that when you encounter a black man, he's trying to figure out whether or not he's got a problem with you before he's trying to figure out, is he going to say what's up or peace to the gods? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right, no, totally agree with you. You know, that's one of the Deuteronomy curses. Again, if I see a white dude walking down the street, you know what I mean, and coming towards me, and I'm going toward, you know what I mean, we coming towards each other, I'm not gonna think twice. Just like, oh, it's just some random dude. But every time I see a brother, I'm checking my gangster. Like, who is this nigga? Where he from? He looking at me funny. What is he on? Where's it? Watch his hands. You know what I mean? I'm always checking out that brother. He might not have no ill will or intent towards me, but I'm still gonna check my gangster anytime a brother walk by, and that's just shit. That's biblical. That's one of the curses.
It's a fucked up feeling when you really think about it.
So where would it come in then? Right? Because if just say, for instance, because I know you said just Sacramento, but if you put that on a worldly scale, what would that look like?
I mean, I don't know. But the thing, I think the recipe is each and every individual has to, because if we think we can manifest everything else in the world, we can't all of a sudden act like we can't manifest this shit. It's possible. You understand what I'm saying? So, because if we rooting for the vibrational frequency when I'm trying to get on this level to that level, why don't it apply here? It's possible. You know what I mean? I think it comes down to individuals first saying, you know what, I'm going to adopt this mindset, and then I'm going to use that mindset to kind of link with other people who got the same mindset. I'm going to pick up on their energy. You understand what I'm saying? And it breeds and grows that way. But you got to have like an internal knowing that it's possible first. Instead of just writing it off like, well, that ain't never going to happen. Because then if whether you say you can or you say you can't, either way, you're right.
Yeah, I'm like, that's like, it sounds like the beginning of, well, I say the beginning, but when they was talking about, all these, like all the ain't like Satan and all this, whatever, Lucifer, whatever you want to call it, all being in heaven, right? And they just living jolly. But at some point, somebody gonna want to go to the dark side. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, maybe for a small glimpse of time, you know what I'm saying? It'll for surely, but at that point, it just seems like, in a sense, that'd be stagnancy. You know what I mean?
I get what you're saying. I don't think I'm not looking at it like killing as a whole being done away with, because I don't think that's the way the context of the question when it was posed originally. And correct me if I'm wrong. I didn't catch bruh's name, but correct me if I'm wrong. I thought he was more or less directing it toward black folks and the tension that exists between us and killing over bullshit. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. I get you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay.
So my question to you,
And I was
is,
like, when I get
what is
on,
what is
sometimes the
the
volume's
step?
not working.
Mark, mute your mic. So my question to you is, how do we get to that point? What some of the steps do we take to get to that point?
I think it's in place right here, right now. The fact that we all even are having this discussion and it came about,
I think it's
and each
happening
one of us is
again.
weighing in on it in a manner that shows that our minds have already processed this on our own. It's something we already thinking about, and here it is getting brought to the table. It's baby steps. You know what I mean? You like for me personally, I done made a commitment to myself, not for anybody else, but for myself that um gang banging or any type of street shit that a nigga might have used to been in is out for me. I refuse to participate in civil war because at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. That's step number one. You know, you got to make that
Right.
refusal. It doesn't matter if the ghost entity that we call the streets is watching and they say this nigga ain't with the shit no more. You know, it doesn't matter. I'm not
So be it.
participating in civil war.
Right. So be it. Call it what you want. I just can't
Right.
partake in that no more.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I
So,
don't know.
Mari, how do you think? What are some steps we could take as a people to get to that point?
Mari, you in here? Is he having problems getting in? What's up, Woon? You back?
Yeah, no, I had to backdoor through my phone and shit.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I think Mari having some trouble getting back in here, but I'm sure he'll be in a second. Did you ask a question? My bad. I was, you feel me? I'm trying to see what's going on over here.
No, Woon was landing. Woon was landing his plane before he got cut off. He was talking.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, no, I was just saying, when it comes down to, what we are in the physical, it always stems from what we are in the spiritual. And just on that type of time, um, I guess we can take it for what it is prospectively from what is good and what is bad. And I know we're probably so far past that in the conversation because I wasn't able to hear a lot of what was being stated. But if we're going to talk about, um, I guess, shying away from a negative aspect of things, then I would strongly suggest just tapping in with yourself. It's gonna let you know everything that you need to know.
Yeah.
Okay, but what does that look like?
Hey, quick question.
Assume that you making that statement to somebody who's completely green on self work. What does that look like?
It's not gonna look like nothing.
Wait, question. Before you answer that, sorry. Before you answer that, I have somebody who's trying to watch the podcast. For your YouTube, is it just Free Your Mind podcast? Is that what it is, or do you have like a specific channel?
Yeah, nah,
Like for
it's
them to
just
go
Free
to
Your Mind podcast.
on
On
YouTube?
But
YouTube, yep.
it's why.
YA,
Okay.
not your,
YA,
but
right?
YA, Free Your Mind.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I got you.
yeah.
All right, thank you.
Because that'll have you looking for it right there. I done been through
Right. Yeah.
that already.
So you were saying, what does that look like?
I mean, I guess what I'm saying is,
You
you
said for
know,
people.
I'm saying assume that you're making that statement to somebody who has zero experience with any sort of self work. You say tap in with yourself,
Mhm.
and that person says, "Well, what do you mean? Like, what advice do you give to that person, or is it just, um, figure that out?"
Yeah, so it may be seeming like a vague statement, right? But if that person is asking, they're kind of almost already on the path of self embetterment or trying to
Figure
look
it out.
outside to get that alignment and shit, right? So if they're asking, then okay, then they're kind of already just meeting me halfway. But for the people who, just like we were saying earlier, for the people who probably don't even know what that looks like, the only thing that we can do is plant the seed and we be that example of what that looks like. Like, you know what I mean? So for me tapping into myself, hopefully somebody gonna sit and say, well, shit, if anything, that nigga Woon tapped into himself and he doing kind of cool and shit. Well, maybe I could see what that looks like for me. Like, you know what I mean? But I can't give it to somebody who's not asking, like, you know what I mean? And that's why we drop jewels and we don't hand them off. We drop them and other people pick them up, like, you know what I mean? So it just depends on the situation. So we're still right now trying to figure it out. Just like I made a post the other day, like, man, Selfmade, we used to be on here debating niggas and trying to battle and trying to just to bring people to a certain level of understanding, brother, to where it's now it's just like, nah, we just trying to bridge the gap, like, you know what I mean? So we're constantly trying to figure that out because we're constantly trying to figure ourselves out, right? So I can't, there's not one way to
Right.
say,
That's what
okay,
yeah.
just do this or do that, because we're still figuring it out as far as the expansion goes. So again, what that looks like on that type of time is going to look like that as far as the reflection. But if you see me and you, if you see a little spark in me and you, then tap into that part of that resonates with you when you see me doing my Dougie and shit. You feel me? And if not, then just do what you can. If it's serving you and you feel like it's serving you, then go ahead and rock out with that. But if it's not serving you, then you're going to know when it's not serving you. Like, you know what I mean?
I can dig it.
Yeah, I was just gonna say there is no way but your way. You know,
Right.
like you could watch somebody and I was talking to somebody about like when it came to therapy and shit. But it's like, you know, you got a therapist telling you maybe you should try this, maybe you should try that, and you may try it, right? No right or wrong, you may try that, and that shit may take you down a fucking black hole. You know what I mean? Or it may take you down a path of light. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you're the one making the decisions. You're the one that has to figure it out for yourself, no matter what. But the way is the way. So whatever you end up doing was always meant for you to do and to find out. That's part of your journey. That's part of your path. But there is no right way.
My bad. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, there is no right way, there is no wrong way. You're gonna learn through your experiences. You know what I'm saying? Like what you prefer, what you like, what you don't like, what you like to see from yourself, what you like to see from others, and you just got to be that reflection. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think it gets scary for people because they think that this is it. So it's like, damn, I gotta hurry up and do this shit before I die. And it's just like, hold on, bro. Like, you know, if you're in a rush, that means you're not even genuinely doing it, and you're only doing it because you think that you're about to die and you're going to have to face those consequences, as opposed to naturally on your own type of time tapping into whatever it is that you think that's going to be that better way. So now, just like motherfuckers say, everybody that kiss ass to go to heaven ain't going. Why? Because you're thinking that I have to live like this just in order to serve or to please or to do that, when naturally it's just like, nigga, just let me tap in and just let me be me or good for just the sake of being good, as opposed to trying to reap some type of reward, right? So during that type of time, now we understand, okay, well, it's not a race. It's not nothing that you need to do before you die. It's just something that, okay, you should do it just for the sake of. And if we can get people to align on that type of time, and this is why some people don't deal with religion, because it's fear-based. It's a scare tactic. Like, you know what I mean? If you don't do this, then you're going to be in hell. Like, but it's just like, hold on, bro. But I'm still learning. I'm still human. I'm still trying to figure this shit out. And plus, if we go by that doctrine, then I will never get it, because the flesh is full of sin. So what are we talking about? So at the end of the day, it's just like, which choice do you choose to go with? Like, is everything all bad or is everything all good? And I can't tell you that. Right. So at the end of the day, it's just like you make that up for yourself, and let it kind of eases the pain a little bit, because as soon as you know that you're not going to be on a certain type of time, it's like, okay, well, now I'm not doing this just for the sake of, I'm doing this shit with actual meaning and purpose and true regards to what being good is. Like, you know what I mean?
it's funny how you said you ain't got the steps and you just laid them all out.
I mean, but I'm
Hey,
not.
hey,
I'm not. I can't. I'm
You
explaining it, but I can't give it to nobody.
no,
hey, the
I
steps
hear
is
what
no
you're saying. No,
step.
I hear what you're saying, no, but I think what I just heard, it to me, it went back to something else you said that like if you see somebody and they spark in that moment and it resonates with you, that you jump on that. You know what I mean? And
Right.
so another thing what you just spoke on is if you're doing something for the genuine reason of trying to be a better person, then
Right.
or be better version of yourself, however you want to put it, you know what I mean? Then your energy is gonna guide you right along. You know, I think that was an explanation, whether it was meant to be or not, or maybe it just resonated with me. I don't know. You know what I
Cool. Well, hopefully, widespread.
Right, right. What up, Shy T?
oh,
I see you
Go
got your
ahead,
hand
Si.
up. What's going on?
Oh man, um, that sounds dangerous, man. To say that for every two, what is it, 1 trillion people on the planet, for each person to tap into their own personal feelings and do exactly what they want to do that makes them feel good. I mean, then we're gonna have like more Dahmers and more. You know what I mean? We're gonna have just people. Just, I mean, that just sounds like chaos. And
Wait,
maybe,
real quick. You don't think they're already doing that?
well, again, look at the condition we're in. So yes, we are doing that. But we are in a horrible condition as it is, and it's
So you're
getting worse.
saying so you're saying so don't do like you don't want them to be tapped in with themselves and to try to figure it out. What would you suggest? Like what's you know what I'm saying? Like
Finding you should always start with the betterment of the people, and then you take your individuality from those from what the betterment of the people is.
so
Because
See, but you just now put it into a conundrum now, right? Because look, so what if you're around the people and the people want some negative shit? Then what does that look like?
right.
well, it will each situation has a gray area. So you have to give me a situation.
Exactly. That's all I'm saying with what you just now said.
So again, so if there's a conflict between me and you, and we're bumping heads somewhere the law of the land prevails, and we go with the
See?
land, law of the land.
Okay. So was there a land where there was like just cannibals and shit running around?
That's not what we're going through right now.
But they
I
got
So,
know
cannibals.
not here,
They got
so that
cannibals still
but
today.
there's cannibals out.
we're not dealing with it.
That's
That
what
is
I'm trying to
now
say. That's
in
what I'm saying.
our real world. That doesn't apply to us now. In the hatred that we having towards our brother, and us being individualized opposed to coming together as a group. us
Right.
us being singled out and finding ourselves, I'm not taking away from that, because it ultimately starts with you, but you starts with the betterment of the people. I'm gonna do what's betterment for the people, regardless how I feel. My feelings can get me in trouble, but the betterment of the people, it just has to prevail. For instance,
How do you know what the betterment of the people is?
What guidelines?
well, again, everything is situational. So give me a situation where your individual thought would be better than the people's individual. I mean, the
I
people's
got you. So
get
so you
the
said so
people's
you
thought.
said the laws of the land, right? So
Yeah,
when it was cool for niggas to be slaves by law, what would you say about that?
I'm not sure I understand the question. If it was cool for niggas to be slaves, what do I
By
say
law.
about? Um, well, we're slaves. Are you asking me this question? You asking on the back-
Which time? Which
I'll
which
go somewhere
time
else
zone
with
are we
that.
talking about?
I don't believe that slavery shit was going on then. I believe that slavery shit then is the same shit that's going on now. It was employment. I think you know that. That's what I believe. I don't believe we was forced and was property like that. I think the same way we was working then is the same way we working for our companies now. It was
so
just it
let's
was
talk
just
so let's talk about racism when
Can I
black
can I
people
can
kind of
I
do
answer
certain
that
things.
right quick though about that slavery one? Can I
Yeah,
say
not
something
yet.
on that?
Definitely.
I think that highlighted the point he was making about uh the betterment of the people and
Right.
certain individuals using their own individual personal abilities to aid in the betterment of the people. And if they hadn't have done that, that whole slavery shit might not have been moved away from. You understand what I'm saying? So I think it kind of because I halfway agree with Shy T on that. I think my perspective might be a little bit different, but I halfway agree with him on that.
There we go.
Um, my personal ability, I want to try to use that to aid in the betterment of mankind, not just to better myself.
And if it hurts the people, then I have to do away with it. If it really hurts the people, then I have to do away with it. And it just is what it is. I can't just be out here. Hey, I'm broke. I'm broke as fuck. I have to feed. I'm just broke, and I have to feed my drug habit. So I'm gonna go rob and break in Miss Brenda's house because I feel like I can take her money. That's just what my feelings. That's not concise. You know what I mean? That's not the betterment of the people. I feel like this nigga disrespected me, so I'm gonna kill him. I feel
Come
like if this
on.
nigga don't wear the same colors as me, I'm gonna kill him. That's not for the
I,
betterment of the people.
I got a question. This is really for um damn. Y'all know who you is. Woon and Selfmade. Nigga tired, my bad. But the question is really for y'all too. I know where y'all stand, but I guess um just for the context of what we talking about right now. When you say tap in with yourself, are you talking about just doing what feels good to you, like Shy T is saying?
Right. What does that mean? What does that look? What does that look like? Because it's tap into yourself. What does that like? What are you? Yeah. Great question. Can you start that
So
question?
the best way I could explain it, I guess, right, is you got darkness within yourself, right? We could all agree that, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, and we got light within ourselves. How do you know which one is which? Like when you tapping into self, right? Again, a lot like okay, you could say in the beginning, everybody started off in the streets. We was gang banging, shooting, shooting at other motherfuckers. All this shit that
Boy.
may be deemed negative, we was doing. You know what I'm saying? It was up
Hmm.
until what point made you say, I don't want to do that anymore? As for self, not for nobody else outside of you, but for self. What was that thing that made you like say, I'm good off of that?
Can I answer that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I never wanted to do it. I always knew it was wrong for me to do that, but
See,
I
right
felt like,
there, right
hold
there.
on, hear me out, hear me out.
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
But I felt like I needed some get back for what they did. That was my feelings. But the betterment of the people was for me to fall back and let that young man, let the law deal with that young man so his mom don't have to bury him, his auntie don't have to bury him, his son don't have to watch him be buried, his brothers, his sisters. The betterment of the people is to let the law deal with that and not take the law into my own hands. My feelings told me to go back and get some get back, and I could have took somebody's dad, I could have took somebody's brother, I could have took somebody's grandson. So the betterment of the people was me to fall back and make sure that my boy that just got knocked down, his kids is taken care of. Make sure I go over there and cut his mom's grass. Make sure we go over there and conversate with his little sister. Make sure none of these niggas is treating his little sister any no different because he ain't here. That's the betterment of the people.
See, Brett said law of experience, right? Um, I'm an advocate of like if you know better, you already do better. So
No,
personally,
no, because again, peer
That
pressure, bro.
that's not necessary. That's
I
not
wasn't supposed
necessarily true.
I knew I
hey,
wasn't
if
supposed to
you
be over there
know,
with
if you
nobody.
know, why did you do it?
I told you because my feelings said this nigga just took my nigga. My nigga got killed on my porch, nigga. My nigga
That's
got
what I'm
killed on my
saying.
porch. My mama walked
So
outside and
then,
told my nigga, hold on, hear me out. Hear me out. Huh? So my feelings, those is my feelings. Those
our
is my
feelings,
feelings.
and,
I
and,
can't,
and what are you
I
doing
can't,
with your feelings though?
I had to subdue those because at the end of the day, not only is my boy gone, but I'm gonna get caught for that murder too. If I go do something, now my mama got to come and see me for never see me again because I'm gone
So
forever.
you wanted the revenge based off of the fact that you acknowledged the feeling of that and you acted on that, right?
I
You see what I'm saying? Like that's why I'm saying like
never
it
taken
was the
nobody's life, man.
experience.
I've
It
never
was
taken
the
nobody's life.
experience. I'm not
I've
saying
never.
that, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like it was the experience of you feeling what you was feeling and acknowledging that shit to say, you know what, I'm finna do this.
But I always knew it was wrong. It was
But
never
why
at a
did you?
point where I knew.
I'm gonna
It was
always
never
go
a
back to
point
that.
where I
Then
thought it
why
was
did
cool.
you do it? Because I've had this conversation with a lot of different people, right? And they go, "Oh, I knew I wasn't supposed to be stealing." Well, then why did you do it? Because if you really knew what you were doing, that's why I say you just didn't know, and it's okay to say I didn't know,
I
right?
knew. I knew. I
But if
knew.
you,
But
I
again,
can't rock with that then.
I tapped into myself and my own feelings and almost kept destroying lives and almost kept that cycle going of destroying lives because I tapped in
So
with my own self and my own feelings. And I always knew that killing somebody, we know killing somebody is wrong. As a baby, as a child, that's just in us. We know that unless
So,
something is
so
mentally
again,
wrong
if
with you.
somebody broke into your house right now and was about to kill you and your whole family, you wouldn't kill them.
Yes, but that's different from me being in my feelings. I
That's what
can,
I'm saying. No,
but
how
that's
is that? How is that different?
I'm telling you, it's protecting. I can protect. I can protect what's mine. I can protect my life, what is it? My well-being. I can protect my livelihood. I can protect my family's livelihood. If anybody comes at me trying to hurt me, I can do that out of protection.
So
I'm
let me
not just
ask
gonna
you
let
this real
somebody
quick.
kill me.
Let me ask you this. If you didn't want to do something, but you did it, what is that?
it's a lack of internal understanding of your own thoughts and emotions. That's
Okay.
what that's what how I would say it, because I agreed with him when he said about knowing better. I knew based on how I felt versus what I had been taught coming up in my house, that certain shit that I was doing um, didn't align with who I was. But somehow there was still a desire to take part. Do you understand what I'm
That's
saying?
all I was trying to say.
And so it was the lack of internal understanding of everything that was going on
Okay.
inside of me that
Now,
made
boom.
that would be my answer.
Okay.
I can,
And
you know
just
what I mean?
off of that, what got you to the point? Because you said it was the lack of something, right? So then how did you gain the understanding?
The understanding of what in particular? What are you asking?
Whatever it was that you said you lacked it, the understanding about why you were participating in.
No, I lacked an understanding of my own thoughts and feelings about something because it's a conflict. Like I said, like I know this don't suit me,
But you
but
just okay,
but I still want to do it. You see, that's the thought is I know I'm not, this don't suit me, but the feeling is I wanted to in this moment. And the I think the only way for me was to reconcile all of that is to go through some of them experiences,
that's
or
what
some of
I
them, some of them wasn't really, you know, it's like, come on, man,
That's what
everything
I'm
that I went
saying.
through,
You had to go
everything that,
through
but
it.
that's not, it's still not that cut and dry. Because everything I went through was not of my own doing. It ain't like I woke up and was like, yeah, today I want these niggas to catch me slipping up the street and try to take my life. So it still ain't that cut and dry. Some shit you went through at
But
the
you was
hands
in
of
that though,
somebody
right?
else.
But you were in that. You were in that environment. You put yourself in that environment for your own experience to get the understanding to know what to not to do.
Okay, so I hear what you're saying, On the same token, though, I still think we got to be careful with what was being said earlier. Just do whatever you feel. I think that's irresponsible as fuck. You can't just say
But
that
wait
to
though,
somebody.
but you
'Cause
literally just said based off of your lack of, you did what you wanted to do.
I understand that, but the thing that I'm saying, this is when I, like, probably could have counted the hairs on my nuts at the same time. I wasn't one of these 18, 19-year-old jumping off the porch niggas. I was a boy. You understand what I'm saying? So that don't apply to the whole conversation we were talking about tapping in with self.
Can I
Obviously,
jump in a minute, y'all?
you know what I mean?
Woo.
Like, it's a different set of circumstances when you're talking about a man versus a boy.
Ah, man, we talking about experiences.
I hear you though.
I get the whole man and the boy thing, but that's that's part of life. Like you that's the whole evolution of self itself. You know what I'm saying? Like, why are we disconnecting who or the age that you was at and where you were at up here with the experiences that you were putting yourself in?
Who's disconnecting that? I'm saying that I mean, because if what you're saying is accurate, then you could just take a 10-year-old boy and you could have him run a corporation right now simply because we can't disconnect him from the desire to go through. There's still some logic that has to be applied to the fact that there's a difference between how the mind operates at the age of 13, 14 versus a motherfucker
No,
who's
I get that.
in their 30s. It's not disconnecting. It's just acknowledging the obvious. That's an
No. I
obvious
get
element.
that part. No, I
Yeah.
get that part. I'm talking about the fact that what you knew at the age of, for instance, what you knew at the age of 10 to get to what you know at the age of 20, you had to go through what you had to go through.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
Okay.
I'm saying I think it's slightly reckless to say, because the way he asked the question when we were talking about tapping in with self, he said his immediate response was, "So you saying everybody should just go do whatever they feel?" I think it's reckless to say yes to that. That's all I'm saying.
I think people are doing that regardless. Like,
And look at where we stand as a result of that.
I totally, I'm not saying nothing against that, right? I ain't saying nothing against that, right? But you could say, let me ask you this. Are you saying that where we're at right now is a wrong place?
Well, again, I'm still on the topic of what old boy had asked about Black folks getting to a certain mindset to where there's not this underlying tension that always exists between us. I'm not even talking about people in general, the world as a whole. I'm literally talking about just Black folks, because we have to admit that there's like bruh said, man, you go somewhere, you're paying more attention and being more safety conscious around Black folks than you are people that aren't Black. So in addressing that, you understand what I'm saying? That's what my whole spew was about in connection to that.
Okay.
Excuse me. Because Woon had said something in regards to tapping in with yourself when we were on that topic.
Bruh.
Go ahead.
So you also agree that we have to. So you would agree with me when I say, it's basically the betterment of the people over the betterment of self. If we doing it for ourselves, and that just sounds chaotic. There's trillions of people on the planet. Everybody can't move individually. That just sounds like chaos.
I don't think there's an over or an under with self or the people. I don't like, it's not do for yourself over the people or do for the people over yourself, because it's one and the same.
Exactly.
Is the way I was looking at it. Like, if you can't truly be doing better for yourself if you have zero consideration of the betterment of the people, because that means you don't even recognize that it's one and the same.
We got Rainy in the building.
Hey,
Peace,
sorry I'm
peace,
late.
peace to the goddess. I heard you say you had
Hi.
something to chime in. Go ahead and chime in.
Well, some of the stuff that you guys were kind of talking about, like, yeah, we have to go through like different experiences because everything is a lesson, right? Even our losses. I don't believe there's losses. There's nothing but lessons. One of the things that like when you guys were talking about like running off of like feelings and emotions and different things like that, have you guys ever heard the term like lizard brain versus wizard brain?
No, I haven't heard of that.
So when somebody does something like Shai T was saying, you know, like his friend got killed on his porch, his first reaction was automatically the lizard brain. I'm gonna go do something to retaliate, right? But then he started thinking with the prefrontal cortex, which is the wizard brain, which brings us back to that rational thought. Because when we're thinking with that lizard brain, we operate on the the fight, flight, or freeze. You see what I'm saying? And so when we start operating back on that wizard brain, that's where we start operating on impulse control and self-awareness. So I just wanted to kind of throw that out there because that's like what he was talking about. And I was like, you know, I know for me, for a long time, I operated on the wizard brain. I was out there in Sacramento in the streets, you know what I mean, running around selling dope, you know what I mean, got a pistol, shooting at people, doing the most, you know what I mean, and went in and out of prison for a long time. And like, yeah, I knew it was wrong, but I was also brought up in an environment where my mom taught me how to do this. She taught me how to sell dope. You know what I mean? So I was a product of that environment. So even though I knew it was wrong, I also felt gratified doing that type of shit though. It was exciting. I was like addicted to that lifestyle, you know what I mean? And you know, something happened where I became more consciously aware of like what my actions weren't just doing to myself, but to my family and my community. And I think that's kind of what you guys were saying, you know, as like a collective, like what are we doing, not just for ourselves, but for other people, you know? And I remember going out in Sacramento, and I was in a faith-based program at this time, and we were witnessing to the community. And I ran across a lot of people I sold drugs to that were homeless, had lost their kids. And in that moment, I was like, damn, like I poisoned the fuck out of my community. You know what I mean? And so in that moment, I had that self-realization that like I needed to do something different. And I ended up becoming a drug and alcohol counselor, and that's what I do now. But you know what I mean? Every day, like I have to be consciously aware of certain things because even days when I'm struggling, I'm like, oh, I know how to make quick money really quick. And then I have to shut that thought down, right? Because that's that old me trying to resurface sometime and operating on my higher self. I'm like, yeah, no, we ain't doing that. You know what I mean? So it's really being consciously aware of everything we do in our day-to-day lives, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
My bad, y'all. I missed a whole portion of this whole shit. Computer tripping, hella shit tripping.
You good though now?
Welcome back.
Yeah. Golly.
I think I mean if I can go in right quick, I think one of the things that I would like to see, and this is kind of where I guess I have a little bit of opposition to the ideology of you just got to go through what you go through. I think um, I would like to see that our young people had some sort of rite of passage that was put in place by those who didn't already experienced the type of shit we've experienced, you know, because why does the rite of passage in our community have to be associated with trauma and death and abuse and all type of shit like that? You know, th- there's other ways where a person can have experiences that tap into them same sort of emotions or lack of understanding their own thought. It doesn't have to come from a place of pain that's being inflicted upon them or them inflicting pain on other people. I just don't see it that way.
I think pain is necessary. I think everything that we have to go through is necessary. Just like, and I hate to put it like this, but biblically, you know, when John was talking about the water baptism, and he was like, "Hey, there's gonna be another, the person behind me finna come with that fire." And we all know that, you know, sometimes the best thing to do is to go through the fire in order to get to where we got to go to. Like, and I understand what you're saying about the rites of passage and us for us to set those tracks out there. But at the same time, it's just like, well, what? Just like we was talking earlier. Well, what if so and so don't can't fuck with it until he gets burned, and then he gotta, oh, okay, y'all gotta get burned in order to do it. So that's
But what
always
if the
what
other
the
16 is with it? We just gonna say fuck them because
yes.
this one
No,
nigga.
I'm not
You know
saying
what
it like
I'm
that. I'm
saying?
saying, yeah, I'm saying, but the option we have to play the whole board. We can't just play half the board. So we got to set up things. If we're talking about on that type of time, everything has to be set up for everybody, and we know we can't please everybody because everybody's going to be on their
On the
path,
court.
right? So when we're talking about solution, when we come down to that, some people ain't gonna get it. Some people are gonna have to go through what they got to go through in order to get it. And then we hope and pray and try to put positive energy towards it. But at the end of the day, we know that this nigga is gonna be that nigga until he don't want to be that nigga. Death or not,
No,
jail or not.
I get that. I get that. I just think that even along with that, there's still something that can that, like I said, provide an alternative to leaving us up to our own vices as a people.
Yeah,
That's
and
that's
and
that's all I'm getting at.
yeah, no, I agree with that. I agree with that. There's always a place and time for everything, and we're so multifaceted that sometimes it'll take a spark for somebody to say, you want to know what? Well, maybe I don't need to be fucking with it like that. But if they are not tapped in with that internally, then what are we talking about?
Hmm.
So it's I get it. We could set the tracks, but when it comes down to it, if we look down into the essence of what we are, free will is a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Hey, she said the world being messed up. Life experiences teaches you to learn self. Karmic said, is pain always necessary?
It's necessary for us to feel a certain type of emotions. Now, if we're talking about how we process that, if we process certain things as pain, then what are we doing with it? Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So when I said it's necessary pain, I'm just saying it's necessary for us to tap in with these certain emotions. That's why we have them. So it's going to produce a certain type of reaction from that. So just like I said, if somebody's on a path and it's leading them to pain, 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 well, maybe nigga, if you don't want to feel that, then change up your plays. Like, you know what I mean? It's just as simple as that. So on that type of time, it just depends on what are you doing and what do you want to do with it. But if you don't know how to process those emotions, then guess what? Things around you are going to show you. Like you hurting your mom, you can't feel it, but you hurt the fuck out your mom. You can't feel it, but you hurting the fuck out your kids. Like you know what I mean. So if you tapping in, it just depends on how you feel about it. And if you just don't give a fuck, you just don't give a fuck.
Like missing the signs or something.
Yeah.
Hey, are you for transgender?
My bad. It's echoing, I think, because of you, Woon. I'm not sure, but okay.
Okay.
Go ahead, Shai T. Go ahead.
Are y'all for transgenders? What's your opinion on transgenders?
What do you like? You can't. What you got to be a little bit more specific. What do you mean?
That boy trying to get us canceled.
How's your what's your opinion on being that free on who you are, where you kill the real you and come up with the new you?
Are they
They-
people?
yeah, they doing what they do.
How do you feel about it?
I don't necessarily got a certain feeling towards it. That's they doing what they do. That's all I can say about it. Like what how do you feel about it? Like what you feel like it's wrong, or you don't feel what do you think?
Which one of y'all just said free will is a motherfucker? Whoever said that,
That was
that
wrong.
okay.
That was
Right,
That
right.
pretty much summed that up in
Yeah,
advance.
yeah.
Oh shit!
What did you don't have nothing to say about it?
I'm asking the question. I'm asking. How do you? I mean, if we say the same thing, then I'll get you canceled. So
Okay, well I'll make it direct, individual, straight from me. Hey man, people do what they want to do, and as long as it ain't affecting me, I really don't give a damn. I mean, shit. Don't worry, be happy. I promise you, I ain't tripping. You know, that's how I look at it. Yeah.
I can agree with that, but I also think there's an agenda that's bigger than that being meant, especially targeting black males. But like, look at these rappers; they're constantly trying to put them in skirts. And then if you go and you research what's in the water, there's atrazine in the water, which they did a study on male frogs, which their reproductive system started changing into females. So if you go look at atrazine, you'll start to see what's in the water. The town that I live in actually has higher levels than normal. I won't even let my kids touch that water. So I
the
think there's a
walking
bigger agenda when it starts to come to things like that, because yeah, that stuff has been like transgender has been around for a long time, but it's so prevalent like today. It's just, I don't know. I think there's a bigger agenda around it.
There could be, and that's why, I was saying what I was saying about rites of passage. Um, can we guide our young people through their experiences that lead them to understanding instead of just letting them figure it out on their own? Because if we doing that, um,
But like, see, for me,
I don't know.
like I was hard headed. You know what I'm saying? So you could tell me or try to guide me this way. Hey, we're gonna need you to slide this way. And I was like, yeah, but what about that way? You know what I'm saying? Like, so as much as you may have and that's why I also had mentioned that with just therapy. Like, some people go to therapy and the therapist would be like, hey, maybe you should try this. And then they try it and they fucking take them down a dark ass hole. You know what I'm saying? So I don't, but I'm not, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not knocking the guidance if you want to try to guide somebody and show them the way, you know what I'm saying? But that way, you got to remember, that way that you're guiding them was probably most likely your way of figuring it out. You know what I'm saying? And you're your own person just as much as they are too. So they may see your way and be like, yeah, that's cool, but I wasn't thinking about that. I was thinking about this way. You know what I'm saying? So
I'm speaking about the commonalities, because the hormonal changes that young people go through, that's a human commonality. You know, the the internal frustration when you get into that coming of age and really trying to figure out who you are, that's a human commonality. That's not no individual shit. That's something that we can all relate to, regardless of what walk of life we come from. I'm speaking about like the commonalities that we know that young folks are gonna be faced with. You know what I mean? If we know, like, okay, yeah, he could go that way and do it like that, and he probably gonna get fucked up, but I just got to let him do it. Or I could just present certain things that may he might be inclined toward, and it catch his attention. You understand what I'm saying?
yeah,
Because
yeah,
when
yeah.
old girl was talking about that agenda, you can rest assured that's a form of guiding people to, so if it's taking place in every other aspect, why can't we do it? You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I'm not knocking that at all. I'm just the only reason why I was saying that is because sometimes I think they get caught up in the fact that if they don't take your guidance, like, they still may not figure it out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But yeah, nah, yeah. If you can guide them and they accept the guidance and they take it, you feel me? Cool, kudos and all the, the whole nine. If it gets them in a better place, you feel me? Then it was for them. You know what I mean? But if it don't and they have to go their own route to figure it out, then that was for them. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
what about Furbies?
Say that again.
What about Furbies?
What are you talking about?
What's a Furby?
The people that think that they're animals.
Oh, he means furries.
You
I
said
was like, why
Furbies?
are you talking about the toy? I was like, what does that have to do with
You
What
said
is
the
it?
anything?
one that think
No,
that
he
they
talking about
animals?
furries.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are people that be dressing up in animal suits and be turning themselves into like animals and whatnot, because that's what they think. That's what, like, they say that they're in their mind, they think that that's what they are.
Well,
It's like animals.
out of respect to the uh, uh, the transgender, all them other people communities, out of respect for them, I'm gonna need them animal people to go run wild with the grizzlies, because all these other people who talking about what they identify as, they living that
Doing that.
life. So
Right.
I'm gonna need you little Furbies. Get your ass out there with them grizzlies. I'm gonna need you to prove that to me.
It's a
Because I
chick
don't
that
believe you, you know?
most of them like cats and shit. You know what I mean? Cats and dogs and shit
Yeah.
like that. Domestic animals.
Yeah, the safe ones.
No, in the
I think it's even a couple
in
schools.
schools
Yeah, I think
now.
it's even a couple schools where they trying to implement litter boxes in the bathrooms.
Not even that. It's because the kids, they're over here, like, the teachers were talking about it too in an interview. Some of them, they were like, "Oh, well, if a kid, like, if we ask the class a
Yeah,
question and the kid responds with like meow
meow
or
back.
woof woof, you have to address them like that." And I was like, "Ooh, I was like, I could never be a teacher because I will never address a kid like that. You talk about some meow, like, I'm gonna be like, go sit in the corner because what are you doing? This is not farm. This is
They
not
tapped in. They
in a
tapped in with them.
stable.
They tapped in with themselves.
No, that is not what that is.
She said,
They could do that too. My only thing
You have
is
to trust me as such.
you can't expect me to go along with that
exactly.
program.
Yeah, right.
You can do whatever the fuck you want to, but that don't mean I have to get involved.
I mean, on another
I
note
think they're
too,
kind of
like,
forcing that on
what am I
you.
gonna say?
I think they're kind of.
Yeah, what do you think about, like, what do you think about people allowing their kids to pick their gender when they're older, because that's all in the same boat too. Like, people like, oh, we're not gendering the baby, or like giving the baby a gender when clearly they're either male or female, and they're like, oh, we're just gonna let them pick
it,
like what they
it,
want. Like, you
it will
can't.
decide when it gets older for
No,
itself.
that's that don't sit right with me, unfortunately.
You know what's crazy? So I stay in Oregon now, but I'm from Cali. You can be 15 and change your gender out here without your parents' consent. And what they call the Oregon Health Plan, which is like Medicaid out in SAC or whatever, state insurance will cover it too. And I don't know. I'm like this. If you want to change your gender, cool, but at least be an adult to do that shit. They just are letting minors be able to go and do that. You know what I mean? And what if, like, you know what I mean? You're like, hey, hold on, wait, I didn't want this. You know what I mean?
When you say
You didn't even
change, you mean like
mature. Like, you weren't even
operationally,
mature
like
to make
the
that decision.
operation?
Yeah.
Yes, a full blown
Yeah, like
operation.
operations
They
and
can be
hormones.
15 years old and get the operation. They can get a full blown sex change here in the state of Oregon at the
Mm-hmm.
age of
Mm,
15 without any
mm,
parent
mm.
consent.
And if you do go against
Yep.
it, CPS can come into your home and take your kids out of the home.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And then
And they're doing
the parents,
they're
let me
allowed
stop,
kids to
man.
get hormone
Free will is
therapy
crazy to the motherfucker. Huh? That's so sounds a little chaotic, man.
So I don't know. That's crazy. So when kids commit crimes in Oregon, uh they charge them as adults out there?
Nope, they still get charged as a child. I mean, unless it's like you're 16 or 17 and it's like a murder charge, then you can be tried as an adult. But like, even when we're going back to like the things that are kind of like weird in the schools right now, like if your child wants to identify, say it's a boy and he wants to be called Sarah at school, but the parents come and he don't want his parents to know that, you got to make sure that you don't say that. You know what I mean? But address in
Confidential
school, everybody has to
information.
address him as Sarah. But when the
Yeah,
parents come, you still got to say his real name. You can't let the parents know, hey, this is what your child's trying to be identified as either. You know what I mean?
it's
It's kind of
child
weird.
abuse. It's child neglect. They can take your kids from the house.
It's crazy how like there's like this conditional acceptance of certain shit, you know. So a young boy can go and just have his manhood removed surgically at the age of 15. But that same boy can't go sit at a bar and order a beer. He can't walk into a store and buy him a bottle or a pack of cigarettes. He can't go buy a pistol, but he can go do this to him. I mean, I just think that's crazy. Under this condition, we will accept your that your mind is mature enough to decide for yourself. But under these conditions, we're not going to accept it. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Push
No,
tobacco back
there
to
was
the age of
somebody
25. They even
online.
pushed tobacco
There
back
was
to
somebody
25.
You said what?
You can't even buy your tobacco
Fine.
product under the age of 20. Is it 21 or 25 now?
It's 21 out here, unless they changed it again. I don't know.
Mm.
But it was 18. But now it's 21. I think they're trying to push the legal adult age to 25, saying that you're still not, your brain is still not physic all the way there until the age of 25. So they're trying to push it back to 25.
Mm.
Yeah.
You know, somebody I was watching this video on Instagram not too long ago, and this people, they made a good point about the furries. It was funny because they were like, well, if they want to be animals so bad, then when hunting season comes
Uh,
around, we should be able to hunt
uh,
them, right?
uh.
Because they want to be
Not
animals, they want to
domestic cats,
go
though.
run around
They-
and exactly, that's what I'm
You
saying.
know the schools? It's some schools that's putting fucking litter box. Excuse my language. Putting litter boxes in the bathrooms, so these kids, these fur bees, can have proper toilets. True story.
You,
Those aren't proper
maybe
toilets,
I'm
though.
half-ass
That's
crazy, but like to me, when it's like, oh, we want to teach the children that they have the right to identify as whatever they identify as. Well, as a parent, I identify as someone who ain't with that bullshit. If y'all gonna respect me and
yeah.
my identity when I come up in there, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's kind of crazy. It's it's conditional acceptance. We'll accept it under these conditions.
Well, see, another thing too, I feel like it's very like hypocritical of like these communities to be like, oh, because they always talk about, oh, we want respect, we just want to be, like everyone else, so to speak, or we just want to be like our own people and get respect from you, but you want us to conform to what you think. Like, we don't care if you want to feel the way that you feel or like who you like or do what you want to do, but you can't sit here and force me to call you ma'am when you're a sir. Like, I'm not about to do that. I don't that's not something that I'm okay with doing. Like, just like you're not okay with staying the same gender or
What about this?
not changing anything about yourself. Like, I'm not okay with changing stuff about myself.
Yeah, I'm not okay with my
If
kids
you're if
shitting in a
you're
litter box. Like
So to get
exactly.
back to the
Like, we shouldn't have to
Hey,
be
wait, real quick.
we
She
shouldn't have
said,
to be okay with that kind of stuff.
so what do you think about the validity of psychosis? If it's real to them, is it real?
to them,
So then, if that was the case, would y'all say then, because I was going to say, like, well, then who's to say, whatever, what they could do? But then I'm going to say, though, would you say that they all need to get put in their own little areas so they can do what the fuck they want to do?
no, no. Just don't, like how she was saying. Don't expect me to conform to your reality and and
Mm-hmm.
understand that your feelings about your identity belong to you. That's your responsibility that's associated with your reality. Don't infringe
Yeah.
upon mine. That be my only
That's
thing
another
with it,
thing too.
you know?
That's another thing
So,
too.
but
It's like
well, oh,
they're
so
they're
okay. So if a cat,
pushing it.
okay, does a cat need to even go to school? Then, if they identify as a cat, would they even need to go to school?
Well, again, I identify as a parent that ain't with that bullshit. So if we respecting the kid's identity, we gonna have to respect mine.
So what
No,
does
I'm
that
saying
mean though?
so.
Like, does that mean they had to get kicked out the household or what? Like,
No one means that you gonna
So
act right,
as long as
take
there are
yourself to the
laws for
hospital.
child neglect, child abandonment, child endangerment, all this other shit, you're not ever gonna walk in my house and tell me that I'm responsible for that kid. And until that kid gets to an age where I'm no longer legally responsible, nobody outside of my house has no say so. That kid can be a cat when he can go do his own cat thing.
wait, so
Long as he up in here, that
wait,
is
so what is
a
that?
boy,
Wait,
Damien.
so what does that look like then? Like, what? And just as an example, I'm not, you know what I'm saying, but what would that look like from your perspective as you being the parent and your kid wanting to be a cat?
You
Would
gonna
you
beat
beat
it
the
out of
cat
him.
out of the? Would you beat the
Yeah,
cat
he
out
gonna
of the
beat the
kid?
cat out of
Is
him.
that what you saying?
Oh no. I ain't gotta do no beating because I'ma identify whoever planted this bullshit in that kid. Because the kid ain't just came up and said, you know what, today I feel like I want to be a cat. And that's
Somebody,
for
wait,
and
wait,
that
wait.
and that's for any sort of identity that we talking about. It stems
Mhm.
from something.
That
Yeah.
something
I'm gonna do my
is
diligence to identify where that seed grew, and I'm gonna stamp that out.
see, and that's where it's gonna get tricky because we can't. I hate to be so there, but I gotta take it there. When if we try to stop everything, we're the life that we thought that we was gonna live, we're not gonna live it. And I hate to say it like that, but what is going to be. We can try to fight it, we can try to do it,
Yeah,
we can beat it out the kids, we can kill off whatever that we think
that's all right, right.
suitable for us. But at the end of the day, man, look, I'm just gonna put it out there like that. So now that I have because I can hear y'all now, and now I know where we're at in the conversation. If my son wants to be whatever, of course now my son is
No.
18 now.
Let's say cat. Don't say whatever. We talking about
Nah,
cats,
I'm
nigga.
saying, I'm saying, nah, I'm saying, I know we're talking about cats, but it's like at the end of the day, if we're having that conversation, and my son say, "Dad, I want to be a dog," rough, 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 and then so am I wrong for saying, "Okay, son, well, I'm going to make sure that you get the proper treatment like a dog"? Am I wrong for that?
I don't look at shit as right or wrong. I look at
That's what.
what's gonna bring about the uh the
Yeah.
the best result for my child. Because when we're talking about
How?
no, hold on, time out. When we're talking about a kid, we're not just talking about some transactional human being that's running around. There's genuine care and concern in your heart for your kid. So if you are more concerned with acquiescing to your kids' feelings than doing what's best for them in the grand scheme of life. Because let's face it, living
That
out your
Our
life as a
shit,
dog, come on,
our
man.
shit.
Come
Okay,
on.
so
A
it's
dog?
similar. It's similar to I had a
it's a
homegirl and her
man.
kid used to write all over the walls and shit, right? So she essentially beat that out of her kid. And I said, instead of beating that out of your kid, if you know that she can only reach certain cabinets and shit like that, just put some paper up so she can draw on the fucking. Don't beat the artist out of your kid. Like, you know what I mean? Because essentially that can happen. So it's
We're
just
not
like
telling. No, we're not
just like
telling you. We're not telling you to beat it out of your kid. We're just telling you to sit down with your son and say, you know what, son, you're a human being. You're not a dog. You're not a cat. You're not a
right.
horse.
But
You're a
how
human
how how
being.
big how big is a kid's imagination?
Yeah, but at the end of the day, reality overstems your imagination. Reality
Okay,
is you're
so
not a
okay, so
you
that's
are a
I mean,
human.
I feel
so
like
this is when it comes down to okay. So now, are you prepping them to do what? To conform to what?
Being a human
A
or
human.
What if
the
what if this
reality.
what if this is a spiritual thing? We're not human.
it's
Wait, hold on. Let me see if I get this right. Let me see if I get this right.
Come on, man.
So you would condone your son saying that he was a dog, and you would treat him like the best dog ever.
That nigga name will be Scruffy.
Hey, the reason why I take the stance that I do is because if you accept one thing, you got to accept it all. My son decided that he wants to pull his shit out of the toilet and he wants to drop it on the stove and boil it and turn it into a paste and rub it across his bread. I have to allow that too. You can't. That's what I'm saying. Like
So,
if you have zero standards, there's nothing that anyone can ever do that you could ever contest, no matter how bad it is. And why? Because they have the right to feel how they want to feel.
You said
Everybody
it
needs some
earlier though.
guidance and direction, though. Like
Hey,
you
hey,
know,
oh, go
everybody
ahead.
needs some guidance and direction.
nah, and I get that, but when it comes down to, because I don't. Before we got off, we was talking about transgenderism, right? So, saying do we accept it, right? Like, what does that look like? So, if your kid, Shy, I know you got kids, but if your kid was going to be a transgender, you would tell them like, nah, we ain't fucking with that.
What I would say is, hey man, if that's who you are, be who you are. But when you come around me, don't do this, 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 and this. Show some respect out to me, and don't do this, that, and the.
Crazy,
I am going to accept who you are, but
crazy.
again,
How? What is that? That don't. When you
uh,
say
But
when you say
how?
I'm.
Wait, real quick. How are you accepting of it, but then you tell them not to do it
That's what I'm finished.
because
Exactly.
something is offending you?
again, so again, you didn't hear what you're creating that because I gave something that I again, I'm cool with you being who you are, but again, when
But
you come
But
out,
not around you.
no, you could be, but don't do this again. Don't be kissing no other man in front of me. Don't be laid up in the
why?
bed.
What is that? What is that? What does that do to you?
Yeah.
That's irrelevant, bro. You asking me a question on how I'm
You just
accepting.
now you're
Hold
giving
up,
the
no,
you're
no,
giving the
listen,
things that you don't
listen.
That's not
accept.
stuff that it's just not stuff that he's okay with, is what
So
he's
then he
trying to say.
doesn't
He's
accept
saying,
it.
I'm
Okay,
not
That's
but you
all.
can
No,
talking.
no,
accept it,
He's
but it's
I,
saying,
I
not
think
No,
okay.
it
that's a
doesn't
twisting of the
listen,
words because
if
I'm
that's
not gonna let my 16-year-old daughter bring some chap lip nappy head nigga in my house and kiss on him in front of me neither. It's not that's not it has nothing to do with the sexuality. I'm still your daddy.
What he's talking about is a sexuality part.
no, what I'm saying is certain thing I do accept who you are, but you also got to respect me as a person too. Like I said,
Right.
if you know I don't eat pork, why would you bring pork to my party? That is just certain things that I can I you eat pork, that's fine. But don't bring it over to me and then tell me I have to accept it because that's who you are.
You don't
What
have
if
to
they
eat the
cooking it on
pork.
their own grill?
Yeah.
Don't bring it to my party.
What if they cooking it on their own grill? They doing their own shit.
Listen,
That's
just like I said,
crazy, boy.
if you want me, listen, what y'all doing, bro, is giving these excuses on why you won't accept my boundaries. Because I'm putting up boundaries. You have boundaries, and I have boundaries too. Don't tell me to fuck with how I'm feeling if you want me to accept how you feeling. Now, if that's
That's
how
Nah, I'm
you
the
not
feel,
shaky
saying that.
ground.
I'm saying I'm
if that's how
saying
you're feeling, hold on. If that's how you're
not
feeling,
good.
that's fine. But you also have to respect my boundaries also. And if you can't respect my boundaries, I can't respect yours, and we shouldn't even be around each other.
I
Period.
think there's a
So you
conversation
don't
that has to
accept it
happen
then.
from a parent and a child. I think
That's wow.
it's like, oh, just accept it. Well, in every other form of life, you got to accept the terms and conditions of the contract. I'm not just going to blindly accept nothing. I'm going to need to have a conversation. There's some things I need
There
to
we go.
understand. I need to have some knowledge of what's going on. It's not just, oh, you feel that way, I accept.
Right.
No, that's bullshit.
Right.
We got to do
But
some
see,
talking because I don't even know
what
how this
happens
came about.
what
I
happens
got
a
I
lot
got
of
to
the times.
understand first.
Exactly. And what happens a lot of the times is that as parents, we don't understand. Will Smith got a whole song about it. Parents just don't understand, right? So on that type of time, now you're offending me. Whatever you're doing to live your best life is offending me, so I don't want you to do it. That's crazy.
I never said that though.
If
I'm
that's how
I
saying
you
that's
never
what
took
you're
once
that,
said
brother,
that.
saying.
that's how you took that, man. But that is clearly, I'm for the thousandth time. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I do have boundaries on certain things that you're gonna have to respect. Also, I'm for the thousandth time. but
That still sounds
if
like a
that's how you took
that
that,
sounds like a
then
personal
hey,
problem
yeah, that's
with
on
you.
you.
That don't sound like see, that's a personal problem with you.
Right.
then we should. Then we can't
I
play
don't
with
know.
each
I
other.
kind of I
If you
kind of
can't
see where
respect,
he's coming from
you can't
because to
respect my
me,
boundaries, then we should
to,
not be around each other. Because you have to respect my boundaries too. And don't give me no excuses on why I should be accepting it and just push it down my throat and just tell me to accept it. If you can't respect my boundaries, then we should not be around each other. Because
well, I
that's
think
respect.
you gotta
Like,
find
Okay,
the way
so
to.
in life, let's scratch kids out. In life, is everything going according to what you think is respectful to you?
every in life, everything that going on in my life, I found a common ground to it. I don't like everything that's going on in my, but again, there's a common ground and there's boundaries to everything that I'm doing. Regardless what I'm doing in life, there's boundaries to it, and everybody's accepting it. Just like I'm going to accept your boundaries. Just to be around you, you saying, hey, if you want to talk to Woon, you have to be this, that, and the third. And if a nigga can't accept those boundaries, you shouldn't be talking to him. And I shouldn't be sitting here saying, well, nigga, fuck your boundaries. Nigga, you shouldn't be, put it down. I do it up. No, accept that. No, bro. If you can't accept my boundaries, then we shouldn't be around each other. Period. I'm accepting who you are. I'm accepting that. But you gotta
Right.
accept boundaries too.
Yeah, I get that. Some people are just cut off from what is, and that's okay.
I would tell my son, look here, dog. You're not a dog. You're not a human. Don't come around. If you want to be a dog, you take that in your room. You take it to the TikTok. But when you come outside that door and you're in my house, you're gonna be James. That's what you're gonna be.
Oh no! I mean, if he came, so that was my question. If he came out of his room as a dog, what would you do?
Go back to the
I'm
room.
I'm a tell him again, what the fuck are you doing, boy? You are not a dog. Get your stupid ass up. Nigga, get up. Walk like a human, talk like a human, do the rest of the shit that the rest of us humans are doing. You are not a dog, boy. Get the fuck out of there. And I will whip out my camera and I'll get on that nigga line with all kind of jokes about not being a fucking dog. Because you know what he's not? A dog.
So what if
Now
the
you
kid
see
come
where
out the
that, now
house
you see where
and
that,
he
now you
fight the
see where
neighbor
that
kid?
there was no asking, there was no understanding on what, there was no sit down. There was an automatic
Especially,
Not a dog.
no. Listen, especially if he know, because if I
That's
know that he
crazy.
wants to be a dog and he's in his room, I'm gonna tell him, well, man, you be a dog in your own four corners all you want. But if you come out here, then I'm not gonna treat you like a dog. So if you came out here in dog form, then be prepared to get this onslaught.
So you wouldn't care that, hey, so you wouldn't care
Because
that he
you
was
clearly
dogging.
came out here wanting to smoke. You knew I was gonna get on your line about you dressed like a fucking dog, knowing that you ain't a dog. You knew I was gonna get on your line when you came out that damn room. And you
So
want me
you
to
wouldn't,
accept it?
and
Hell
you wouldn't
no.
care about him being a dog in his room?
Yes, I would. But again, that's all confines in your room. Go ahead. I would. I would be like,
Okay,
man,
are
hey,
we
hey,
talking
man,
about
you weird as fuck,
pretending to be
man.
a dog or identifying as a dog? Because there's two different things here. In
No,
his room,
hold on.
playing
Now this,
around, that sound like pretending. I thought
okay,
we was
hold on.
talking about like identifying as a dog, meaning that like, if you don't let him out the house, he gonna shit in the corner. You know, I mean, because if we gonna accept it, we gotta accept everything that comes along with it.
I'm not accepting him
He's
taking a shit
chewing
in
on,
the corner
he's
of my
chewing up
house.
the furniture. He's
Yeah,
shitting in the corner. You understand what I'm saying? Like,
you
I
gotta
think
accept
I
we
that.
think
really we gonna accept him doing all that.
I
We gonna
think people
accept
I
him
think
chasing
people
down
train
the rat
dogs
in the backyard and eating it up. We gotta
people
accept
train dogs
all of
against
that.
that.
So he would have got kicked out. Ultimately,
Yeah.
just keep it a
He's
buck. That nigga
he
would have
going for
got
the
kicked
pound.
out. He
He's
would
going
have
for the
been
It's
pound.
not about getting kicked out. I think this it's crazy that that's the extreme y'all go to. What
I
I'm
don't know
saying is,
what y'all. I'm
what
saying
I'm
if you.
saying is, I'm not just like I'm not gonna align with what somebody else got going on. I don't give a fuck what society thinks how somebody's supposed to treat a person when they want to identify as some crazy shit. Like, man, fuck what society talking about. My kid is my responsibility, and society can go somewhere and do some other shit. They ain't got nothing to do with how I'm dealing in my house. Because if that kid go do something, guess who they gonna be pointing the finger at? Me. So fuck
Right.
society. I run the show and I don't have to please nobody. The understanding only has to exist between me and the people in my household, and everybody else can fuck themselves. That's how I look at it.
That's
Yeah, I
I
think
real.
got
it's
you.
a I
So
think
so
it's a
what's the
thin line.
resolve?
It's a thin line, right? Because you got like the kids, right? That like what Rainey was saying, like 15, 14, whatever, right? And they go and get like a sex change and shit, right? And then later on in life, they don't like the fact that they got the sex change, and then they end up killing themselves. You feel me? But I think that also could play on the reverse end of that too. Like if they're not being allowed to play a role that they want to play, that might torment the fuck out of them to the point where they want to off themselves too. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. It seemed like it's a thin line between both sides, but at the end of the day, if they really, 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 really wanted to be a dog, and you didn't allow that nigga to be a dog in the house or whatever, and that nigga fuck around and off himself or start doing some crazy, some whole off the wall shit, you know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, it's still gonna look, it's still gonna fall on your end too for not
I
allowing
don't
that
care.
shit to
I
happen.
don't.
It
I don't
comes
care.
down to
I
human
don't
mental
care.
condition because
Right. I don't
I
care.
mean, when you look at nature, butterflies are butterflies and bears are bears, and like I don't even. It's the human psychosis that's even bringing this shit about. Let's face it, ain't no kid trying to identify as a motherfucking animal unless something's wrong. And if me saying that makes me politically incorrect, then shit, call me PI, nigga. I'm Magnum PI because hey, look, man, there's certain shit that I have to stand on as an individual. Fuck this world. I gotta stand on my shit first. You understand what I'm saying? Like, there's no way I'm accepting that. I'm just not gonna do it because I understand that it's the symptom of an underlying issue, and I would be doing a disservice to my child, and I'd be less of a man if I didn't address that shit in a way that benefited my child versus addressing it in a way that pleases society. I'm not gonna
I
do
think
that.
I think the whole point of that was, again, if we thinking for ourselves and tapping in, and everybody's thinking for themselves, look how far that's gonna get us.
Right.
If we that's where we're taking it, and it's gonna get even more extreme.
Yeah, that part. Damn, did everybody freeze?
No, I'm
Wait,
rocking.
Oh no,
Oh,
you
okay.
good.
hold on. Wait, I'm lost. Go back. Wait, what was he talking about? I'm sorry, I had to go do something. What happened? What happened?
Yeah, I
Oh,
don't
the
know.
cat.
Like
Doing
that's why I
whatever,
say
doing
that line.
whatever, thinking, feeling how you feel, going into your own personal feelings and being the best how you feel can be so detrimental, and it's not for the betterment. It's just not for the betterment. You cannot sit here and tell 10 trillion people to take care of each self and only worry about itself and be your that's just not concisive. I think that's the word I'm looking for. Concisive to humanity. That's my opinion, and I think we all can agree on it now.
Hey, we got a question from Divine. She said, do y'all feel like people who talk to spirits are just as off?
Um, I can't say that I know that personally, but yeah, possibly. I mean, I don't know.
See, when
Well,
it comes to going, can you guys hear me?
yeah, we could
Am I
now.
muted?
You was kind of choppy for a second.
You're still choppy,
Okay.
Woon.
It's still choppy.
No, you good now.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a hell of a delay. Okay. So I'm gonna. Is it good?
You good. You good. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. It's a hell of a delay. Okay, I'm just making sure. So when it comes down to the tapping in with the self, and I want to make this real clear. before you can do anything, you have to tap into yourself. You can't just, if you disregard everything that you got going, you're not even knowing what the greater good is anyway. Right? How can you even get to the level if you don't even know why you're doing what you're doing? You're just doing it to please somebody, and that's doing it yourself. You really got to understand, okay, this is okay, now I can give it to somebody because I already gave it to myself. That's when,
Hey, yeah, you cutting out again, bro.
that looks like.
That nigga turned into Twister
He
on
started
us.
talking hella fast.
Can't hear you.
My
That nigga
boy
was busting.
started, right,
He was
chipmunk
spitting.
voice.
I don't know. Am I
Oh,
good now?
shit.
Yeah, it's
Hey, you might
you
have
like
to
a
like
6
go
out of
out, come
10
back.
on
It was
second
like
voice.
everything he was trying to say came in all at one
Hella
time.
fast, right.
You sound like one of them auction people.
Just until he get back, I think he was on to something. He was saying if you ain't tapped in with self from the beginning, then he said something about you just doing shit to please other people. And I agree with that. I think there's a lot of people in this world that have a drone mentality. They're just doing what they were told to do, and that's their identity. You know what I mean? They don't even really know what's up with themselves. They just going along with the prescribed program because they was told by somebody who was told by somebody else who was told by somebody who was lied to. You know what I mean? Like motherfuckers don't even really be knowing what they got going on. So I agree with him on that.
Yeah, can y'all hear me now?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, so and I'm glad that you caught that because y'all said I was speaking fast. It was like everything hitting. But so Shy, to answer your question, we're not saying just go out there and be sporadic. That's a whole different topic. But when we're saying tap in with yourself first, you can't give nobody else nothing if you haven't given it to yourself. You're just out there moving crazy and you don't even know why you're doing what you're doing, right? So you can give more if you tap in first. You can't. What are you going to like? That's just like trying to love somebody without loving yourself first. What does that look like? How does that look? What is the result? So at the end of the day, if you don't tap in, it's just like, well, shit, I'm just here just to be here, and that's cool. But at the end of the day, learn why you finna do this. Like there's certain steps that you got to take place in order for it to happen, and starting right here is going to be the first number one thing. And I would hope that everybody would understand that. I wouldn't want a group of crash dummies with me. I want niggas that know what type of time it is. Like, you know what I mean? So on that level, hell yeah. Like, and then we could be a group. Like the gang don't make niggas. Niggas make the gang. But sometimes it goes however you want it to go. But at the end of the day, it's just like rock with some solid motherfuckers who tapped in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Goddess, she was saying, do y'all feel like people who talk to spirits is just as off mentally? And then she said, because some people say that they hear things and see things that aren't there. Is that mental illness or spiritual awakening / gifts? And you got them people that be like nigga, little kids talking to an imaginary friend, named Jimmy or some shit, and your parents damn near beat that shit out of you. Like, you ain't talking to no motherfucking Jimmy. You know what I'm saying? But till they get till they get older, and they actually come into some sort of understanding about the fact that they were, having certain abilities to communicate with, things that aren't being seen with the physical eyes. You know what I'm saying? And the parents may not have that understanding because they might not have experienced nothing like that. You know what I mean? But for the child to damn near get it beat out of them or whatever, however they got to the point of no longer recognizing that aspect of something that they was tapping into. You know what I mean? It could arise something.
Yeah, it goes back to what I was saying before. I gotta understand. or at least try to, because I might not understand it all. But I got questions. You know what I mean? You can't just be like, oh, this is what I got going on, and I'm just say, okay. No, I got questions. You know what I mean? And as far as it being just people, and we're not talking about children, sometimes these people who claim they talking to spirits or whatever, that shit be drug induced. So it's like, I mean, just keeping it a buck. At that point, like, I really don't know what you got going on. You probably is crazy. You know,
and that's true as fuck. That's true.
Right. Karmic, you
some
in here?
people really have a talent, you know, or a gift or whatever you want to call it. But you know, shit, I don't know.
So, from my personal experience as somebody who's extremely tapped in and venerates ancestors, I work with some women who are out of Benin, Africa, every Sunday morning, and we do what we call healing the healers, and we do ancestor veneration. And tapping in on that level is very real for certain people if you take it to that aspect. Now, coming from a stance of somebody who also works with people that struggle with schizoaffective disorder, some of those people, yes, they do struggle with schizoaffective disorder. Some are tapped in and don't even realize what the fuck they're doing and what's really going on, though, too. Because I, as a counselor, you know, and a mental health therapist, you know, I gotta basically dig into these people, you know what I mean, and really figure out, like, is this real? Is this some made up shit? Is it drug induced, like you said? Because yes, sometimes it is drug induced too, you know what I mean? Or are they having a spiritual awakening? Because sometimes people can have a spiritual awakening. And I know personally for me, I had some fucked up shit happen about a year ago when I got on my spiritual journey, and I was like, hold up, am I going fucking crazy? I thought I was going fucking nuts. And I mean, I had to call Woon. I had to call my brother-in-law. I had to call some other people who were tapped in at that time because I thought I was going crazy. And I had to have people explain to me what was going on, because I got to a point, not only was I able to tap in with spirits, but I was also able to control my dreams 100%. And it was crazy shit going on, sacred geometry and colors. And like, I was changing shit. And then like, I brought somebody into my dream. That's how I knew shit was getting real. And like, I was able to start like really slowing everything down. And now shit don't happen that same way. But like, when I was coming online, it came online like 50 years worth of shit. Well, probably like 500 years worth of shit, you know, and that shit was fucking scary. I ain't even gonna lie. When you really start to venture out with the capabilities of your mind and your body and what you can physically do in this realm and spiritually, that shit gets wild, y'all. That's all I'm gonna say right now, because Woon already knows. We done had some conversations when I was going through some shit. I was like, what is happening right now? What does this mean? And you know, I told him like some dreams I was having, and he was like, well, next just wait till you see the number. I think it was the number 9. I had already seen 3 6. And he was like, then you're gonna start being able to manifest. And the next day I was watching Pinocchio with my kids, and Pinocchio sitting in bed number 9, right? And from there, I started manifesting. I mean, I started manifesting money like nobody's business. It was fucking crazy. I started doing the 369 method. You know what I mean? And so I've been able to tap in on a different spiritual level than what, like, yeah, what most people think is just like bullshit. You know what I mean? Because that before, if you would have told me I would have experienced the things that I experienced, I'd have been like, you're fucking crazy. That shit sounds nuts. You know what I mean? But I personally experienced these things. So that's talking what I've experienced, you know what I mean? On that spiritual level.
See, that's the thing, because like what Woon was talking about when it comes to this all being spiritual, right? It's like when you do start saying, okay, tapping into the spirit of the dog, right? Like, we looking at the shit from a physical standpoint, like, yeah, that's a dog from my eyes to me looking at it, but it's a energy, it's a consciousness, it's a spirit within the dog that I could be accessing, you know what I mean? And from the outside looking in, yeah, it may be looking like I ain't speaking the same language as the human, but I'm still in communication with this spirit on a different type of time, on a different type of frequency. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, from like, it may not be one of those things that, because if you ain't tapped in, yeah, you gonna look crazy than the motherfucker. Sometimes you be seeing, sometimes you be seeing some of these homeless cats, and whether you say drug induced or not, if you ever sat down and talked to some of these cats, you be like, damn, these niggas is actually they there for real. You know what I'm saying? You may see them walking around talking to the sky. You know what I'm saying? But if you actually sat down and talked to them, you like, okay, wait, hold on. They might be actually tapped into something that I'm just not privy to. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, real quick, and that's why. And I'm glad that you told that story, Randy, because like I don't even be telling people who I be talking to on isolated conversations and shit, right? But
Yeah.
the people who know that I've talked to a lot of different people. So, and I know that we was joking about the dogs and everything else, but there was an important thing that Bali Uno said was the understanding, right? So if we go to that level and going back to the beginning of the conversation, if we humble ourselves down and we say, okay, well, what is this that we're talking about right now? Can I make that connection to that? And can we try to bring light to the situation? And if we that's the mission for me. Like, you know what I mean? Anybody could come to me with anything. Just like I said, if it ain't crazy, then okay, it's lit. But
Yeah.
if I can try to make a certain type of connection and I'm humbling myself down and I'm bringing myself into the energy of what is, and then it's just like, okay, well, let's talk about it, let's figure it out. And if I can't, I'm gonna redirect you to, one of the people that be on the panel or, whatever. Like somebody is going to relate to that in some way, unless you're just a one of one for real on that type of thinking, on that type of frequency, right? So on that level, it's just like, going back to what Steph was just now saying. So do we just write motherfuckers off? Or do we try our best to connect to the spirit that's driving this shit and not looking at it on just some human shit?
Bro, I think that's like when you start looking at these, like for instance, like the Egyptians, right? You'll have like Haru. It's a man with an eagle head. You know what I'm saying? Or a hawk head. You know what I'm saying? Like they're literally like bodies with animal heads. And then they also have certain attributes that are attached to these different animals or reptiles or whatever it may be. And it's like, why are they using animals then? You know what I'm saying? If we can't tap into that and those, because some of them, like, I mean, even when you go back to the natives, they'll look at some of these animals like real people, like spiritual entities that they learn from. They get certain things from, you know what I mean? These spirits. So, Divine, she says, so then is it only mental illness if you can't control it? It's like I feel like that's that whole outside looking in. If you ain't on that type of time, you're gonna look at somebody that may be tapped into something like that, like they fucking crazy. You know what I mean?
You right, and sometimes they do be. It's not to say that it's a definite, but sometimes motherfuckers just be crazy. We have to acknowledge that as well. It's not to say that if you talking to spirits or whoever, you crazy. But on the same note, you talking to spirits is not an automatic write off to your real ass craziness. Like it depends on how you look at it. Sometimes motherfuckers just be crazy. But I was sitting here thinking about the question she asked, and my thought was, is it spirits that people is talking to, or is it is it beings from another how do we know? How do you determine that?
That's a good
Is
question.
it necessarily spirit? So say like if a motherfucker can mentally, not in the physical, but mentally navigate through different dimensions, and that's where these conversations is coming from.
You
I'm
said
just out there
physically?
with it.
You said physically?
No, if mentally they're
Oh,
navigating through dimensions on a mental basis, but not physically. And they're able
You
to
mean
have
like
conversations with people from different dimensions. This is
but
just where my mind was going.
everything is mental. Everything is mental. Everything is
Everything is
spiritual off
mental.
the rip. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You might see a motherfucker talking to a tree. Who's to say that he not really having a conversation with the tree?
You're not understanding what I'm asking you.
Oh, okay, my bad.
What the question was, if somebody talks to spirits.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm saying,
He's saying, how can
what
we
if
validate they
what
are
if it's
spirit?
not a spirit at all? What if
Right.
it's okay? Think about the multiverse. What if it's another motherfucker that's actually in a different dimension that this person is able to connect with mentally somehow through the dimensions. You understand what I'm saying? This is just how far out my mind went when I was trying to analyze her question. So I figured
Yeah,
I'd throw it out there.
I think that picking up from where Selfmade was at, for me, in my personal opinion, when we talk about the mental, consciousness and energy is what constitutes what spirit is, right? So if we're talking about a mental connection, say through telekinesis or whatever, that means my spirit is in tune with yours on that type of
Mhm.
time. So I don't think that you can never not communicate, because we're not spirit. I'm sorry, we're not just this, we're spirit first. So if we're not communicating through this, then it would have to be through the spirit. Like, you know what I mean? So it just depends again on how you look at it for real.
Okay.
If there's no difference between consciousness other than the frequency or the rate of frequency that you're on, then even you connecting to something in a different dimension, my bad. Even you connecting, yeah, I got you though. It was just echoing. That was the only reason why I had you on the mute thing. But even if it was like you connecting with a different aspect, I would look at it like you're just connecting with a different aspect of yourself. Not like you're talking to a whole mother different, you know what I'm saying? Because like even everybody here on here, like we all talking to ourselves.
Absolutely.
You know
I agree with you. It's a conversation with myself through y'all. So I agree with you on that.
Well, we all hear
I think what I was asking though, because when I hear talking to spirits, and then the other sister that's on here had said something about people reaching out to ancestors. So what I'm hearing when I hear the word spirits, people who were once living that no longer are. So in my mind, that's a separation from, having mental contact with somebody in a separate dimension. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, because I hear everything you're saying, and I'm aligned with that.
So you're just the fact that they're not here. They were once here, but they're not here physically anymore.
No, not even here. Once living and no longer living. You see
But
what I mean?
when you say living?
Come on, man. I think you know what I'm getting at. A motherfucker died, and I was talking to my dead grandmother versus I was talking to some motherfucker in another dimension. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's that simple. We can't dig too deep into it because again, I was just sharing the crazy shit that I was thinking about as I was dissecting her question. It's that simple.
Yeah, he was just saying like in terms of what like if we knew that they was once here, then okay, we can say ancestors, we can say spirit. But
Right.
I guess if they're giving a reference to something that's not of those specific things, and if it's a different dimension, then is it just another human on a different plane? Like, can we really just zero it down to spirit? Me personally, I would still say yes.
Yeah, that shit must have went way over my head because I'm like, yeah, I still don't know what bro talking about for real. I was trying to understand.
So if I told you I had a spirit visit me in my dream,
and it was your grandma.
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying, if I had a spirit visit me in my dream, that could be anything to you. You wouldn't even be concerned with what I meant when I said that, is what you're saying.
As far as like what, like as far as if
what
it was
the spirit represents. Because that's what I'm getting at. Like when I hear the word spirit, and even the sister that chimed in kind of spoke on the same thing. People that were once living that are no longer living. So if we're not talking about that, how else can we frame it? That's where my mind kind of went. You know what I mean? Because I don't think that that's the only possible way that somebody could be communicating mentally with someone is if it was a person who was once living that no longer is. That's what I was getting at.
I think that at this point in time, bro would usually kick in the door and be like, "Nigga, it's aliens."
You never know, Woon. It might be.
Oh shit.
Shit.
But
Hey
nah,
I've
y'all.
but
been waiting. I've been outside getting pissed off that they ain't snatched me up yet. No. I'm
but
right
go ahead,
here.
Carmen. You got the floor.
Hey, so I had a question for Valley. I wanted to ask because he said if it's like too crazy, he might, if it's too crazy that they saying that they talking to a spirit or people talking to spirits, he might not be able to believe that they are actually talking to spirits and they might just be crazy. But I wanted to kind of like get down to what or how he identifies someone who is actually crazy, if they're saying that they're talking to spirits or if they're saying they giving you a message from somebody through them, or what's really crazy that would seem like they really insane versus they're actually in that experience.
I mean, that's
Gotcha.
something that I'd have to pick up on vibrationally in that very moment. I think each and every one of us has the ability to determine whether or not we talking to somebody who is having logical thought processes or they on some other shit. It ain't even about that they're talking to spirits. It's just that people be crazy and sometimes you recognize that shit. And again, me calling you crazy ain't got shit to do with you talking to spirits. It just so happens that you also was talking to spirits, but you still crazy. You see what I mean? But you could be not crazy and be talking to spirits and tell me that, and I never get the crazy vibe. So what I was saying was I will not automatically exclude psychosis just to avoid hurting somebody's feelings. That's really what I was getting at. It's not even about, you know, the spirits, you must be crazy. It's just that sometimes motherfuckers be crazy. And I will never just turn a blind eye to that.
Okay, I think I understand that, but I want to follow up with this question. Would you say that how you may identify them being crazy in that moment as a combination of how they carry themselves or the delivery of the messages or the delivery of what they send along with them speaking to spirits as well?
I don't know. It would probably be more about the way that person carries themselves, the eye contact, all kind of shit like that. Somebody saying that they talking to spirits is not enough for me to think they're crazy. That's not it. I think what I'm saying is sometimes people that are just outright crazy claim to speak to spirits. That's all I was getting at.
I understand what you was getting at. I just wanted to
Yeah.
understand how you identify crazy. Because I know sometimes I may drive and I may see somebody on the side of the street and they saying this and that, and they may be looking like, they are unfortunate or they probably are fortunate. They just probably live on the streets and that's probably where they want to live, or they probably have holes and dirty or whatever. And a lot of people would think this person is crazy. So I wanted to know how you identified it.
I mean, that's a very broad statement that I would have to make in order to identify crazy.
As perspective.
I mean, I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example. Um, so a family member pulled up on me, come knocking at my door, comes in the house, and he sits down and he says, "Yeah, man, I need to use your phone." I say, "Why? What's going on?" Because he looked like he was going through something. He said, "Yeah, man, I was trying to call my dad, but the manager at Rite Aid put a block on my phone, so I can't call my dad." Does it sound like logical speech that somebody who works at a store is able to stop him from calling his dad on his own personal phone? And I said, you understand what I'm saying? Like sometimes people say shit
That's crazy. I don't even understand how we're struggling to unpack this. Like, what world is you niggas living in that you haven't experienced meeting the crazy motherfucker? I'm so lost right now. Like, I know I ain't the only nigga in this conversation on planet Earth that has ever met a crazy motherfucker. Come on.
Yeah,
What the
so
hell are we even talking about right now?
But then I think it does go back to like, is this individual drug induced crazy or are they
I
fucking
said
crazy,
that
crazy,
from the
right?
rip.
Yeah, because I
I
okay.
dealt
said
with an
that from
individual not too
the
long
rip.
ago. I
Hey,
just
but
dealt with
we
an
know that
individual
that
that
can
thought there
also
was
open you
bugs.
up.
I just
Exactly.
dealt
That's what
with
I
an
was about to
individual that thought there was bugs
say.
on him and then thought there was parasites crawling into his fucking brain, but he was in a meth psychosis. You know what I mean? He's fine when he's sober, but that motherfucker was crazy at that moment. You see what I'm saying? He was
But
fucking nuts. But that was also, like I said, that
You
was
should
drug
have
induced
titled this
crazy.
show "Perspective" like a motherfucker.
yeah, because
Right.
other
Well, it's open
psychosis.
discussion, so shit.
It's
Same shit.
open. It's open.
Another thing with psychosis and skits, and I know you said you were a counselor now. Um, Even though somebody may feel like they have bugs going through them and you can't see it, does not mean in the other side of their brain that they're not experiencing it. And just because of this, it also does not mean that they are crazy. They're still having
Right.
an experience that the other person just cannot validate for themselves.
No, I totally agree with what you're saying too. But the meth made him feel like those bugs was going into his brain and eating his brain, and there was parasites inside of him. And as soon as he got sober, there was no bugs no more. There was no parasites. So that was meth-induced psychosis that this individual was going through. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And now this person, he's fine, he's perfectly fine because he's sober. But I would never be like, "Oh, you're crazy." You know what I mean? In that moment, yeah, he was pretty fucking crazy in the moment, but he wasn't permanently crazy. Like as an individual, as a whole, it was a substance that was creating that. You know what I mean? Effect. And I think even like when we're talking about substances and stuff, like when we're consuming things, right? What does that open us up to? You know what I mean? So
Right.
that's a whole
I,
nother conversation for later. Because
Mm.
I'll go deep into some shit on that level too. You know what I mean? Because I think it makes us more acceptable to things. And when we start talking about like spirits and other maybe even entities or whatever, like being able to attach to us in those moments, you know what I mean? That are making people experience what they're experiencing. Because that's some
Right.
demonic
See,
shit.
Yeah.
and that part right
so,
there,
so
and that's why they call
does crazy
alcohol forbidden,
exist?
right?
Is crazy a real thing?
That's
Makes
that's
you think
what I
about
was.
that, huh?
No, 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 no.
Uh-oh.
I'm asking. I know
Let's
my
open that
answer.
up. Let's open
I
that
Yeah,
know
up.
my
I don't
answer
think crazy is a real-
because if I
I don't
say
think
crazy
so.
ain't a real
From
thing,
my
that
perspective.
means I have the same thought processes as Jeffrey Dahmer did. That's normal shit to want to
Right.
rape and kill men and eat them up. If I say crazy don't exist, I'm accepting that as normal behavior.
Right.
So
Well,
Because
to me,
crazy
well,
does
so
well.
to
exist.
Wait,
me, I
real
have to
quick
say
though.
crazy exists.
Real quick though. Is cannibalism a real thing? Is that, or would you consider the people that are cannibals crazy?
I mean, I'd have to encounter one, and yeah, to me, that's crazy. Yeah, that's what
There's a
I would
whole
say.
there's
He said,
tribes
hell
in
yeah.
Africa that still do that shit to this day.
And that means what to me? They still crazy as far as I'm concerned.
Right. I'm just saying, like, but like
Yeah,
that's the only
What's
reason why I said perspective, because there's people that's doing shit that other people may deem crazy, but to them, that's their way of life. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, how could we really start boxing these different things in when they're happening, they're taking place, and not just, not just, it's not just for right now. Like this shit's been happening since the beginning. Like, you know what I mean? It's not, they
Right.
talk about that shit in the Bible. They was eating their kids and shit. Like, I mean, it's a lot when it comes to that aspect. When you say crazy, like, yeah, it may not be the norm of what anybody may be used to on this end of the world, but people is
but
doing all types of shit all over the world that you may
don't
deem
worry.
fucking crazy. Like there's a tribe right now that's making 9-year-olds put on gloves with fucking bullet ants for 10 minutes. Like that shit, you be like, damn, that shit crazy. These niggas can't even, bro, they hands swollen up, and it's It's some shit you wouldn't do to your kid, probably. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, that's their tradition, that's their culture, that's what they live by. You know what I'm saying? So
That's their rites of passage.
yeah,
I feel
Right.
you on that. I feel you on that. And to bring it full circle, like, because you said, how can we box them in? In reality, the minute I say it's crazy and that whole spew comes around, is my perspective not being boxed in?
as
I
far as
mean,
what?
if you understand what I'm saying? Like, if they free to do what they do, I'm free to see it how I see it.
Right. Yeah, I ain't gonna take nothing away
So
from
I'm
how
not
you seeing it.
boxing nobody in. I'm just saying, nigga, from where I sit, that's crazy.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Would you say then crazy is a matter of perspective based off of where you're at or what you know or what you are privy to?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely
Ooh, I
not.
thought you was gonna say
Absolutely not.
absolutely.
I know.
No,
Wait. So wait,
absolutely not.
why would you
Absolutely
say
not.
that
And, come on, man. Hey,
Hey,
because
hey, can we get
here's the reason why I always stand out, because I refuse to just go along with the tribe, simply because I understand that we all have our own perspective and our own experience. It does not eliminate certain realities. There are some people whose minds are fucking cooked. Being spiritually awakened doesn't remove that reality. So yeah, it's not a perspective thing. Some motherfuckers is really crazy. It's that simple. That's
let's
not
can
me
we get the
turning
definition
that's
of
not me
crazy?
turning my back on
Look,
spirit. It's just
I want to know.
refusing to turn my back on reality.
Okay, let's look it up because I want to know now.
Really,
Yeah, and
I want to
I know
ask.
the
No,
definition
I'm
gonna be.
sorry. Go ahead, Will.
No, I was just gonna say I know the definition gonna be wild, but go ahead, Carmen, you got it.
Yeah, it is gonna be
I
wild.
think
Hold
her
on.
name is with the R. Is her name Rainy? I think I heard y'all
Rainy.
say Rainy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I had
So
a question for you really quickly because just a moment ago, when I mentioned what I did about, maybe we just can't see what they're feeling as far as the
Hmm.
bugs, the skin. And you said, well, no, sometimes, it's really just meth induced. It's temporary. You're not going to say they're crazy, but, that's not like a standard, really.
Affirmative.
Right. But then you kind of turned around and you said that you was going to briefly touch on it, but you didn't want, it's a conversation for another day, that when we're using these substances, we have to watch what we're opening ourselves to and what entities we're allowing to attach to us.
Right.
I would say that this would be the same thing as those bugs that person think is crawling on them. Wouldn't you say that that's
Mm.
the same thing? Because a person would say no entities are attaching to you, just the same way somebody would tell them no bugs are crawling on them or in them, right?
Right.
That's a good point.
I mean, my take on it, and this is a person like I've known for many years, and I'm not talking about a client. This is somebody in my personal life, right? And who he himself is actually extremely spiritually tapped in. However, he struggles with meth addiction, right? And so when he's going through these phases, you know what I mean? It's like there he it's hard to explain when we're spiritually tapped in on a different type of level, not just saying, hey, you know what I mean? I go to church or I'm religious. When you really delve into spirituality and you become more consciously aware of other things and you tap in, you do make yourself very receptible and acceptable to things being able to enter.
That's a
Okay. And
fact.
what I mean by that is, you know what I mean? When he's going through these psychosis, I can see it strict. I see his eyes glaze over, his pupils turn. And it's not just the drugs. His face distorts where you can see that it's not him no more. You see what I'm saying? And like I've seen that in even some of my own clients, but I'm not even talking about a client. Like I said, this is a person I know in my personal life,
Yeah.
and like I know when there's an attachment on him. I can sense that. When I forget what his name is, when he was talking about like I can sense crazy, I can feel the vibration, I can feel the energy. Ever since I was a little kid, I could walk in the house and be like, something bad happened here, or I could feel that energy that was good, like nothing bad has happened here. You know what I mean? And so when I get around certain people, I can tell if that's just you that's in your little avatar right now, or is there some other shit going on with that person, right? And like you said, you could be driving down the street, you could be seeing somebody waving their hands, and they might look like they're crazy. They might not even be like on that. What we're visualizing may not even be what it is that's happening and that they're going through, right? And that goes back to like the reality and the perception of things. But just from like my experience and all the different experiences, you know what I mean? I can only speak on my spiritual journey and my personal experiences, that I can sense when there's other shit attached to people. And people smoke weed, and you know what I mean, they might have a little light spiritual connection. People do mushrooms, right? You can have a really deep spiritual connection. Most of the time it's not bad. For some people, yeah, it is. But other shit that's chemically based, like coke and especially methamphetamine, that nowadays is laced with like fentanyl, that shit opens up some major doors to some fucked up shit that people just don't want attaching to them. That's all I'm
Yeah, I
saying.
get
And
that.
like me being where I am in my spirituality, I can sense that shit. I can see it in their eyes. Like it's like almost like when you watch a movie where their eyes just get real black, and it like there's barely any white. It's almost like that. You can start to see that in people, and you can see their face distort where their cheekbones get higher. That's when you know there's some attachment in them. And I've worked like I said, with clients where, you know what I mean, I've had to walk through, and I can't even walk through. The sad part is I can't walk through the shit with them on a spiritual level, because there's certain codes of ethics I gotta follow, right? And so like I could give them a little bit of spiritual stuff, but like in my personal life, I do certain cleanses with people, you know what I mean, on a whole different like level, where they do have shit attached to them, you know what I mean, whether it's like relationship attachments and things like that, because that I'm strongly like against just sleeping around or just sleeping with anybody too, you know what I mean, because I
I'm
strongly believe there's
sorry,
attachments in there too, you know what I mean.
Rainy.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to lose track because I forget where I was going. I'm
Okay.
sorry, so I'm trying to get back to where I was real quick. So I was just basically trying to make the comparison of what you said was not going on to what you said could go on, so we
Yeah.
can see how it's the same.
Yeah.
That's all I was trying to do.
Yeah.
So I understand what you're saying too, though.
Okay.
So when it comes down to the attachment part, right? Because we talk about eyes being glazed over and things like that. Can it be like they're going to a spiritual place and then they just get detached for real?
I think sometimes that's what it be too, is like there's that detachment, right? Because like I've been like doing a lot of different spiritual stuff since I was younger, but really came online about a year ago. Like I said, even when it comes to like astral projection, you know what I mean? There's that you open yourself up if when you're projecting, you know what I mean, into the ethers. You know what I mean? I don't know if anybody else does any type of spiritual work like that, but that's kind of where I'm at on that type of level. You know what I mean? And I got to be even mindful when I'm in the ethers, because now my body is an open vessel for anything to come and take over. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So I'm very mindful of certain works that I do, the environment, the cleanses, anybody around me. Just, you know what I mean? You got to be super mindful of a lot of stuff. That's why like I really just rock alone. I have one best friend now, and that's about it. You know what I mean? Because I strongly believe in certain attachments. Every time I come home from work, I cleanse myself. You know what I mean? I do a ritual where I cleanse myself, because I don't know, you know what I mean, what all the people I've been around throughout the day who are still using drugs and are not, and struggling with whatever, you know what I mean, they got going on. I don't want that shit on me. You know what I mean? So I got to cleanse myself too of whatever, you know what I mean, may have kind of dragged its ass right along with me and shit.
I'm glad you said that, because when I don't pick up my phone for niggas, it's that reason alone. So for
Mm-hmm.
everybody who watching, when I don't pick up,
Yeah.
y'all don't be talking shit. Hey, so did we
Is
get
that
the
why
did
you
we get
ignored me the other day, Woon? Huh?
the did we get
You think I
the
got
He was
something on me?
cleansing.
did we get the definition for crazy? Hey, you muted out.
Yeah, no, my bad. I just had that shit up. Here we go. Hold on. I seen Lovejoy posted in there too, but I think she went to the like where it came from. Let me see. This is Miriam's. It's a crazy, not mentally sound, marked by thought or action that lacks reason, impractical, unusual, being out of the ordinary, distracted with desire or excitement, absurdly fond, full of cracks. That's what I seen Divine say in the chat. It means cracks or flaws. That's pretty much it.
It's just whatever we want it to mean.
I was just gonna say that's a lot of shit.
That's a lot of shit, you know. And I mean, a lot of them words is up for, you know, perspective
Exactly.
on your
What
own, you know, how you looking at it.
what about the initial one? Not mentally sound. Because that's exactly how I mean it when I say it.
Well,
But see, it's not mentally sound because you ain't got the ears to listen, so it's mute.
Well, also when it says like not mentally sound, right? I go back to like that conversation that I had with you, Woon, when I first came on. I thought I was fucking going crazy. And what I did was I reached out to somebody who knew what the fuck I was going through. I didn't just reach out to anybody, you know, like and tell anybody what I was going through in that moment because it sounded fucking insane. It sounded crazy. It sounded like I was mentally unstable. And so
Right.
you know what I mean? In those moments where you're having certain experiences, maybe you might think you're going crazy. It's really finding somebody that you know that's tapped in on that type of level to be able to walk you through whatever it is you're going through and guide you out of that. You know what I mean? Because I'm telling you guys, I thought I was going nuts for a minute.
And
Seriously.
the crazy twist of events, I'll be trying to connect to everything to make sure I'm not crazy. If that makes sense.
Right. Exactly.
So let me
hey, but
ask you
see, that's
something,
the thing
Warren.
right there. You
Let, let,
like how would you like? Are you determining whether or not you're crazy based off of other people's understanding of what the fuck you going through?
What I based it on was like it sounded crazy to me.
Yeah,
Initially,
but I'm
like,
saying
and
like,
because that was my perception. Because had somebody came and told me, hey, I'm experiencing this and this, I'd have been like, you're fucking crazy, right? But that was my perception in that moment because I wasn't fully spiritually tapped in the way I needed to be in that moment. So now I look at things like when people tell me certain things that maybe before I'd have been like, oh, you're crazy. I'm just like, oh no, you're just coming on, or oh, you're awakening, or there's something going on. You know what I mean? I try to look
Yeah.
past, oh, what society would deem it as, you know what I mean?
right,
Because a
right,
lot
right,
of
right,
times that's what we're looking at is like, what would society deem this as? And they would be like, oh, she's fucking crazy, right? But
right,
I
right.
wasn't, you know what I mean? I was really coming online at a fast pace, you know what I mean?
Do
And
you
like I
think that
said,
that looks different with everybody type? You know what I mean?
yeah. And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you got to seek out, like I said, I contacted Woon. I contacted a couple of other people that I knew were tapped in. And I was like, hey, these are the things that I'm experiencing. You know what I mean? Like, help me out right now, you know, because I didn't really know what, you know what I mean? What was what in that moment, to be honest, you know?
I got another definition of crazy.
Oh yeah, spill it. Where is that?
All right, this one is coming from dictionary.com, okay? It says, okay, so the meaning of crazy, mentally deranged, demented, insane, informal, unpredictable, non-conforming, or odd. So that's what it gives. It gives you like I guess like a little list of like all the different meanings of crazy.
I think
so
people that put motherfucking peanut butter on their pizzas is odd. You know what I mean?
Well, that's just wrong. They don't go together.
so
That don't even
so,
fit. Who
so
does that?
Warren.
Who do you know that does that?
I know, right? That's what I'm
Why is that even a thing?
saying.
So Woon, I ain't gonna say no names, but I think you would remember who I'm talking about. Uh,
Okay.
we had some peoples who had an uncle who was a little different, for lack of a better term. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Uh,
Oh, it just
shit.
okay. We had a homegirl who had an uncle who was a little bit different.
I think I know
You
who you're
you
talking about. I think I know who you're talking about now. Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about?
I think I do. But we
Okay,
can't say. Yeah.
okay. So 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 um, do you think he was spiritually tapped in?
Don't fuck with me, homie.
Hey,
Do you think he was spiritually tapped in?
hey, I'm gonna tell you
Keep
like
it a
this.
buck.
I'm gonna tell you, everything is driven by the spirit. So if that body,
Come
or
on,
if
man.
everything is driven by the spirit, you have to
Okay.
say that.
Okay. Okay. Well, just for clarity, the individual's uh mindset was drug induced. It was a permafry that never returned from over a period of like 27 years. So I
And
mean,
see,
and this
see,
and this
But
is how it was related from the family. Like went
right.
from being who he was to going to an event, somebody giving him something, and he
Mm,
came back cooked and stayed that way for decades on end. And so when I hear people say, "Oh, crazy is just a perspective," to me, that's just people refusing to accept the reality that some motherfuckers is crazy.
like,
It
did it?
doesn't matter how it sounds; it's still the reality.
Yeah, I
see
agree with that.
with that, and I'm glad you said that because that there are some people who's they was on the show. They've been on the show before. Who's that's their brother type shit, right?
Yeah.
Um, and I'm saying that to say, like, so when it comes down to that, I know Lovejoy had just posted something probably 20, maybe 30 minutes ago now, but was saying, not in that case, and I don't want to take it to that case, but sometimes people are so spiritually tapped in that they either use drugs to try to calm that energy down, or they use drugs to try to enhance it or try to keep up seeing shit, right? Not to say that's the case because he
Hmm.
didn't know, take that, be on
Yeah.
that type of
Yeah.
time.
Hmm.
The fucked up thing I'm gonna say, and I hate to say it like this, but I think any time that you're taking any type of anything extra, you're trying to get into that type of time, right? Because if you drink, more than likely you're gonna get drunk and be out of your mind, right? If you smoke, it may not gonna say it's gonna take you out your mind, but it's gonna take you to a different place. So essentially,
But
it's
I
your
would say,
spirit that wants these things.
but then too, when that happens, then like, what is it then that's operating the vessel at that point?
I'm just saying, if a person's mental faculties cease to function at the optimum level that they had been prior to that, I think
Right.
that fits into the description of somebody being not mentally sound or mentally deranged. And this was the only
But see,
reason why I was pushing the envelope, because to say that crazy is only perspective, it's damn near an insult to motherfuckers who have that sort of experience where somebody deliberately slipped them a Mickey, and here we are
right.
saying, "Oh, that's just normal." And this motherfucker had to live
Well,
his entire existence under the care of
that's
his
what I'm saying.
mother,
Fucked up.
all up to like our age right now. Like, we got to be real at the same time that we acknowledge in the spirit. That's all I was saying. The reality
Nah,
is
yeah, I
that
got you.
some motherfuckers is crazy, whether we like how it sound
So
or not.
Well, I agree with
do
that
we
too, but it's all
know? Do
about
we know
perception,
that?
right? Too. And in a case like that where somebody, was slipped something, and I wouldn't necessarily say, oh, he's crazy. I would say he now struggles with a mental illness because of this reason why. So, you know what I mean? Somebody did something to him to make him like that. You see what I'm saying? I don't necessarily would say he's crazy, but
You
that's
you
just that's
you
just
you
Right,
my
because
you
you're
that's
talking
just
pretty
about
my
you
somebody
pretty
else.
much
perception.
just made my point. That's what I meant when I
Yeah.
said it doesn't
Yeah.
matter how it may sound to somebody.
Yeah.
The word crazy may offend somebody, but
Yeah.
it still is what it is. No matter what word you use to frame it, the reality is still the same.
But the way
Yeah,
we
well, he
treat them
went
is
crazy because
different,
of something
Valley.
somebody
So,
gave him.
so when you use the word crazy and you look at somebody that's crazy, your attitude towards them and their treatment and their care and how you respect them may be different than when you look at it in the way that Rainey said. So
That's not
I
true.
would.
That's not true. And
It's
I'll
true
give you an
for a lot of
example.
people.
I'll give you an example because of this same individual. Like, and there's another individual that I ain't gonna name, but Woon know I used to bring him with me, and he fit into the category of what we talking about. But because I knew him from before, he'd be all in the car with me, and I would dare a nigga to say something stupid about him. They was going to have to deal with me. So that's not necessarily true. And even the other individual that I just mentioned, we were out at the bowling alley, and because of his mind state, he was frightening people. And so the police wound up uh circling around him, and it got brought to my attention, and I had to come over there and come to this dude's aid to get the police to leave him alone so we could take him home. So again, it only comes down to how somebody else feels about me saying the word crazy.
I get
And
what you're
and
saying.
and and, and that person's feelings is that person's responsibility. I
I
have no,
understand that
you,
too.
you know what I
So
mean?
really quickly, Valley, this is, and you're gonna say probably you wasn't trying to be a certain way, but this is the example I want to give, which is going to my point about the word that you use and the attitude that follows that word, right? So just a moment ago, when you tried to give an example or try to tug on Woon's memory of the first person you was talking about, when you said you know who that is, and then he said he think he do. You said you think he spiritually, but when you said that, you kind of like laughed and giggled behind it. It would seem as if you, like, if you would have looked at him in a different light as mentally ill or something, I wouldn't think laughing and giggle may come behind it. But when you
Well,
look at it with the word crazy, a different type of attitude may be attached to it, is what I'm saying. And
uh,
when you
uh,
just look at example,
again,
go ahead.
here's the way I look at stuff. Like some people will say, like, "Oh, what you just said is offensive." I don't agree with that. You might have been offended by what I said, but that does not make the statement in itself offensive. That comes down to a matter of perspective. If somebody has a soft spot about the word crazy versus mental illness, again, just like when we were talking about other things on here, you can have your viewpoint, but you cannot expect me to conform to your viewpoint because now I'm being robbed of my individuality. My individuality is if the word exists in the dictionary and I use it and it offends somebody, that's their problem.
Right. Yeah, I don't think I was offended. I was just trying to show you what I was saying. That's it there.
Yeah, and I think that's
We
why
got a
I
couple
wanted to
people on
bring up the.
Instagram. I wanted to
Oh yeah.
throw them in there real quick. The brother Lawrence in here, he said, "Can you be crazy and wise at the same time?" I'm assuming.
Shit. They say a lot of geniuses is crazy.
Real shit. Somebody said the type of mental illness can be described crazy. There's depression and all types. There's literally 4 types of mental illness, and bipolar is one, which is crazy.
But when you think about the word crazy and when they relating to people with like neurodiversities and stuff going on with the brain, it's usually when people are acting like in one side of their brain more than the other. Like even with the people with skits or something, they're
Right.
usually they're out of touch with reality, but it's the physical reality that they're more out of touch with, but not the other side. You get what I'm saying? So it's usually like that for most of them, like bipolar in between two planes. You know, you got the physical plane, you got the mental plane. So just because everybody else might be in each of them a little more than that particular person, I wouldn't say that they're crazy. You get what I'm saying? They probably be luckier than a lot of us, you know what I'm saying, to step out of the physical and be more into the spiritual plane, you know, more often than us.
It's almost like if you seen somebody running down the street and or just doing something, you know, erratic or whatever crazy in your mind, and you like, man, that dude crazy, but then you find out later on that they may be dealing with autism, it's almost like when they give you something to attach to the reason why they're doing that, then it makes it okay. Like, oh, okay, never mind. They're not crazy how I was thinking. You know what I'm saying? But
right,
like you just said, the like there's autistic people that's geniuses literally when it comes to certain aspects of reality, whether it be like mathematics or direction or fucking whatever. It may be other aspects where they not too much tuned into that, or it may seem or come off to other people like they crazy. But in other aspects, shit, you put them in a lab, they might fuck around and come up with a whole new ass invention for everybody on the plane. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I think that perspective aspect of it, of you looking at it from the outside, looking in, and you can't really relate to it or you don't understand it, it may come off to you as crazy. But until you get an understanding of what's really going on, what's really taking place, to understand why this is happening, then I think that's why, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people may look at certain things as crazy.
Yeah, the understanding again for me, that's where like the fucking that's and sometimes people don't have the patience to do that. Just dealing with certain people, they like, man, I work, going back to the autistic shit, like I work with kids with autism. Well, how does that work for you? And they'll tell you like, well, I had a parent or a family member or somebody, so they gained that level of understanding in home first, and then it's just like, okay, so now for whatever reason, autistic people, they communicate with me rather than more than that they would with somebody else type shit. So it's just like, the more that you try to be a citizen in their world, then then you may gain access to it, and you may gain just that level of understanding to where it's just like, okay, well, I'm gonna be that representative for you because I know that your energy is 100% or even 80%. So I'm gonna be that 20% for you to bridge that gap type shit. And I see you back in the building. Six was good.
Man, I'm just tapping in with y'all. You know what I mean? Just I feel it. Man, what's going on? So I was
What's good
thinking on
with
some
you?
feedback to what y'all's on right now, what you was just thinking or was just saying. I mean, a perception of that in mine is, the word crazy, and then so some people be really living in a different world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit! I think
Did we
What's that
lose
word
him
you
that
use?
quick?
Woon?
Oh yeah, no, you good. You back. Go ahead.
Autism, the word autism. So you know some people work. So now a variety pack is a bunch of different flavors, right?
Right.
This is how God made humans. So now we got some people who are time travelers. It may make sense. It may make sense to a billionaire, but might not make sense to an average Joe here on Earth right now.
Right.
The billionaire says this dude is a genius. The fucking average Joe says this dude is fucking crazy.
Right.
Different variety packs. Some people really living in different worlds, time moments. You know what I mean? You just never really know until, like he said, you have to know what's going on.
Yeah.
You gotta know. You gotta
It's
know that
hella people that
you gotta know
right
where
now.
that time travelers come from. Like,
It's
come
hella
from
people
that
right now thinking Kanye crazy and shit. He be saying some wild shit. If you don't understand what he talking about, you know what I'm saying? I remember he was saying something about the bass and how they using the bass in a certain frequency hertz. And yeah, if somebody from the outside that don't know nothing about frequencies and vibration, they gonna be like, bro, what the fuck this nigga talking about? This nigga he's fucking insane crazy. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I be saying, like, it's just a matter of perspective based off of like where you at, what you know, how much you understand about, you know what I'm saying, these different things that people going through.
So you trying to tell me right now, if I put my mind the same place I put my time and energy, I'm gonna really get there? Because I be putting my time and energy places that I don't really put my mind since I be feeling like at this point, for real.
Yeah. Well,
like
well, when you say, and I know Selfmade has said this probably in a whole different podcast, or maybe even off camera, but he was saying, that time is frequency, and that shit like resonated like a motherfucker, right? But it's just like, well, what you said, like if you put your mind on that frequency on that type of time, then of course it's going to produce some type of level of alignment and shit, right? So Hell yeah, I fuck with that shit. But that's what I'm saying. And that's why I be so open, because it's just like, what if I don't, if I can't relate to something, I gotta be the crazy one if I can't relate. Like, you know what I mean? So it's just
So
like, hold on. Let
A1.
me make sure that I'm good.
Right,
So with that being said, you know what I mean, to answer the question of crazy, kind of in a way, a lot of people put their mind and energy. No, a lot of people put their time and energy in places that they don't put their mind at as well. I put my energy over here trying to figure out what's going on over here. I put my time, but I don't put my mind in to actually figure it out.
Exactly.
Mm.
Exactly.
I give it my time, I give it my energy, but I don't give it my mind to figure out. So therefore, I ain't giving my mind. I'm just calling that shit crazy because I don't understand it. Give it your fucking mind. You give it your energy and your time. Give it your mind. Full fledged, like you give your time and your energy. You set on it with your time and your energy. Sit on it with your mind, and really don't manipulate it the wrong way. Manipulate it to figure out what's really going on in the right fashion.
So ultimately, the motherfuckers that's walking around here trying to act like a dog and shit, y'all got to try to figure out what the fuck going on up here. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Everybody ain't got the patience. Sometimes that shit take patience, bro. Sometimes, sometimes we dealing with our own situations. It's just like, we were saying earlier, like, we got people that, that in our own type of time, in our own family and everything else. Like, I don't got time to deal with that, but it's just, okay, at some point in time, everybody needs to take that breather. So when you take that breather, okay, it's okay for you to tap in with you, but it's just like, okay, if I'm really, just like what you were saying, Six, if you really want to understand what's going on, then when I take this breather next time, I'm going to take it over here. Like, you know what I mean? I'm going to see what this is. And just that level of connection that you make, or that you can make, just like I said, just like Rainey was saying before she left, so many different people tap in with me is crazy. And just like I said, I don't be telling my conversation but I be talking to people from all walks of life, and I be like, I'm taking all this shit in, like, oh shit, like, you know what I mean? But I have to make sense of it, or I think that I would, I'm trying to make sense of it and trying to, make the
Right.
connection shit like that. So it's just like it take a lot of work. But again, I got the patience for it, like, you know what I mean. So, and I could kick that shit back on a certain level and shit, like, you know what I mean.
Right.
So it's like,
Right.
hell yeah.
Hey, I got a question. This like heck off topic, but Woon, is your hat fur? I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I'm just staring at it for a hot minute. I'm trying to figure out if it's purple.
Oh yeah, no, it is.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's interesting. I ain't never seen a hat like that before. I'm sorry. Go ahead, y'all continue.
hey, nah, we getting to that time, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. As far as on the next one, if y'all had any topics in mind. I know we was covering a lot of different shit, all kind of at the same time in different aspects. I don't know if y'all had anything else in mind that y'all was trying to touch on, maybe in the future or something.
Hey, I think Maya been coming up with good topics.
I want to say, well, here go a topic that I want to address or get laced on from different points of views, right? And it's kind of simpler. It's kind of simple, but it's kind of complex too, right? So, and I'm just playing to see it. I just want feedback. Yeah, I want to out of the thousands of feedbacks or however it may get throughout, whatever. I get to choose which one fits me most, right? For my company to move on, right? Or whatever. Or whatever. So look, this life, it's like we got one life in this life right now, but death, we got two lives because we got two options. Like when you die, you can either go L or heaven. That's our hypocrisy, at least, though, that a lot of people hang on. You know what I mean? Minus my own religious points of views, or if I'm religious at all, period. Minus my own, if hell and heaven exists, it's like we got two lives. It's like we got one life here, but then we got two lives after. Like, what do we do with that? Like, what's it for? Is that even eternal, or what is it? Like, what's up with that? Like, what's up with death? We here right now, but it seems like it's a fork in the road. Because for me, it's like it's a fork in the road, and I'm asking this question because I've already answered it for myself in a way, but I need more open. I need more minds because my mind ain't everybody else's, and it ain't a million. So I only give myself one answer. And it's kind of at a blank point because it's just like, okay, that's a fork in the road. Like, I want to see if anybody else can like see it from my point of view. Damn, that's a fork in the road. Like death. Like, you know what I mean? And the hypocrisy, where you going? It's a fork in the road. Like, so if that's a fork in the road, what do I do with my time here? Like, what the fuck? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a real fork and road. Like, we ain't have a decision to be here right now, but supposedly we have the decision for our future.
I
So
can see that
how
going
would
up
you
right there.
yeah, how would you summarize that question and kind of like condense it so we can like, just hound in on it in terms of just a topic
Uh,
like how
What
would
is
you
life after death? Do you
yeah,
or
how would you
what is life from now merging into after death or some shit?
okay.
And how do we and everything that's absent in between? How do we give that absence a definition or a meaning? Like that gap in between life and after death, like that, like those two, it meets, but we don't know how. And I feel like we knew how, we have more of a meaning or why.
Is it the gap of
Okay.
physical death? I'm trying to understand that part. The gap between after you die from the physical body and you.
that we gotta get that's what we got to get
And that's
into.
everything in between,
That's
huh?
what I'm saying. Like I
Yeah,
wanna
we gonna have to get into that part for sure.
yeah.
Because that
All right, so
that's gonna get interesting when we start talking about it on that type of
I
time for
got an
sure.
idea
hell
too.
yeah. That's
And my idea, and I'm gonna hurry up and get off. I know it's earlier here than where y'all were, but my idea or whatever I have in my mind for a topic one day will be something along the lines of like the benefits and disadvantages, or pretty much really the benefits of allowing children to date earlier than usual. Because for a lot of us in our households, parents are, "Oh, you can't have a boyfriend till you this, you can't have a girlfriend till you this," but then people end up being 40 and 50 single because what Mr. Antoine say, the lack of wanting to pair bond. So, and then, I just feel like if a lot of kids, instead of being kept away from dating earlier in life, they may be able to maintain and sustain healthy relationships throughout life.
damn, that's
That's a
deep.
good topic right
That's
there.
That's
gonna go deep
raw.
right there.
I'm
Yeah,
That's
I'm
that's
I'm
raw.
I'm here for that one. I'm here for that one because that's kind of like a reality that I've been faced with. So I'm here for that one.
Hey, that's like top grade coaching. You know what I mean? With like, what should I say? The right, you know what I mean, is real and it's right the right way. You know what I mean? Because age is age. If you with your age, kind of in a way. Once you're old enough to consume knowledgeable from his parents as well. You know what I mean? And that's all type of stuff. Responsible.
Yes,
yeah, that could go. Yeah, that gets deep.
it
that's,
is.
that's gonna be one of them ones.
I like that. I like that.
Mm.
Okay. So relationships when it comes to the youth,
Mm-hmm.
and then transition from one life to the next.
And every
Mm-hmm.
Everything in between is what he was going to
Everything
say.
in between.
Everything
Everything in
between,
between.
you
Right.
know, yep. You know what I mean? Like that gap, that absence. You know what I mean? Like how we gonna make that bridge effect? You know what I mean? Like we gonna, you know what I mean, with the relationship. We gotta turn all these open these mind things into some type of facts, because we got it within us for sure, and we all ready to lean on the same thing, or at least build the pyramid together.
Right.
doing the dash. We gotta do the dash. What you got,
All right,
Right.
Elder?
good night, y'all. This was nice. Everybody have a good night.
All right,
Good
so
night.
All
all
right.
right.
Appreciate you.
Peace. Thank you for
Peace.
coming
For
on.
sure.
Hmm.
What you got, Lamar?
I got a few topics.
Go ahead. Drop
I
them.
got. Hold on, give me a second. I'm sorry. I'm trying to turn my damn volume up. I don't know how to work this computer. All right. Anyways, I got a few. I don't know if we'll be able to cover them next time, but I want to talk about abortion, whether y'all are pro life or what's it called? Anyways, yeah, abortion,
Okay.
divorce, being a single parent. What else? Marriage.
Damn, saying pro life and like if you ain't pro life, then that
And
sounds crazy when you say it like.
Like a setup, huh?
no. So abortion, divorce, marriage. What was the other one?
That's gonna go deep too.
I forgot.
Here's one more, but then I also want to talk about rape culture, especially in hip hop music.
You
That
said
too.
what? Rape culture?
Hey,
Yeah,
there's
rape
certain words
culture in
we
hip hop
gonna get
music.
flagged. We gotta be
Yeah.
careful
We
with
gotta
that.
watch. We gotta watch the. We already
We
done
gotta
got a
use the
couple of
Oh, for real?
flags. So
yeah.
Okay,
Just
we'll
that
call it
word alone,
rape
I know they
culture
flagging.
then.
But we gotta call it something else.
Yeah. We'll figure that out though. We'll figure that part out. But I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know on Sinetta they had to change it to grape. So if we could say grape, that's cool.
Okay. Yeah. That's what we said. We didn't say the other one. We said grape.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
But the grape culture, like, woo. But you said in just hip hop alone, or
Like the whole bad boy Diddy thing. That's what we kind of insinuating, or like around that.
Oh, I'm just talking about that kind of culture in general. It's throughout. It's a lot. It's in a lot of music. Honestly, especially a lot of hip hop music. Diddy, R. Kelly, who else? Ice Cube, DMX. There's a whole list.
Okay.
A lot of people.
All right. Well, shoot, we got a lot of topics to then to go through.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I said we probably won't get to it in the next podcast, but it's something.
Yeah. Nah, that's what I'm saying.
We're gonna spread those out for sure.
We're gonna spread it out for sure. We'll have something to talk about,
Yeah, because each one of them gonna take some,
busting down, So yeah, those some good topics, man. We gonna bust it down for sure, man.
Definitely.
We appreciate everybody in the chat rocking with us. Even Instagram was kind of going up. I was doing a little better on tapping in with the comments. I was trying, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So shout out to the chat, man. Everybody else that was chiming in. But he got bounced out. But yeah, no, I don't know if y'all have any
yeah, no, I'm back.
Some closing statements. How y'all want to make your closing statements and
Can I go first?
Yes.
Sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. I just got something to do. Thank you guys for having me on. As always, I enjoy hearing everybody's thoughts and opinions. This podcast was pretty cool. I wasn't here for all of it, mainly because I had stuff to do. I was running around the house doing stuff for my mom, but yeah, I had fun. Thank you guys as always. See y'all when I see y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you for sliding through as
Bye.
always.
How do I get out of here, bro? A freak. Oh, there it is. All right, bye.
Yeah, I ain't got nothing too special to say, man. I rock with y'all. I appreciate y'all. Keep that energy popping, and I'm a pull up.
Definitely. Always. Peace to the
Yeah.
God.
All right, one love.
Y'all keep it lit. You hear me? Well, y'all be having it lit. I definitely want to give a shout out to this podcast, man. Straight up. Yeah, I mean, every time I come on here, I leave greater. So
facts.
Soulfully, you feel me? All the stuff. You feel me? Like soulfully, cause it's gonna feel more honest and genuine when they say spiritually. Like soulfully, I leave greater.
Right.
Sure. Feel me?
That's it.
No, so the next one I'm catching, if I don't, I was, busy, but I'm always looking, God timing, perfect timing all the time. Cause I be leaving fed.
Yeah. Every time you get on, man, I'll be forgetting to share our video. So we gotta at some point in time, I gotta start. But my internet been fucked up and shit, so I gotta promote.
I could bust it down on my end. I could for sure, at least I share the screen or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
we can do that on the next one for sure.
Hey, I got and I got I'm gonna send some little stuff your way, some more from project, man. I'll just so most definitely. Yeah, Kings, you know what I mean? I see them on, it's on y'all, you know what I mean? Hey, good looking.
Hey, appreciate you, man, for sliding through always, for real, man.
All right, man. Y'all have a good night, man. Stay blessed, man. Good looking, I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Peace to the God.
Go.
Man,
Yes, sir, man.
I think like them open discussions, they be lit. They be
They go
motherfucker.
up for sure. They go up for sure. It gets spicy, man. It gets spicy in there.
Yeah, and I apologize to everybody, like, cause my internet was good, and then the shit started tripping, and then I tried to hop on my phone, that shit started tripping, and then when I got back to here, I had to reset the sounds and the mic and the fucking camera and everything, and I'm like, bro, I missed out on hell of the shit, hell of the
I,
shit.
I think it wasn't just you though, because it was, man, the whole, like, a certain point in the show, it was like people was jumping in and then boop, jumping out, jumping in, jumping out, jumping in. So I don't know if, like, if it has something to do with this or just connections, networks. Like, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? But it definitely didn't seem like it was just you. And I think somebody said in the chat, like, it keeps kicking me out. So
Yeah,
I'm not sure. We're gonna have to try to see, what's up with that part. But I
man,
mean, we
but
did have a lot of people in here too, granted. So I don't know if maybe we got to limit how many people come in, and you know what I mean? I don't know. We got to try something. We could try something else, something out on the next one or something. But
definitely for sure.
overall, it was a solid show, man.
Yeah, and for the people who don't know, right? Because I know we was talking a lot about the humble side versus the cocky side, and not being or not putting yourself out there like you're better than or less than and things of that nature. And I ain't showed this in a long time, but I don't know if people can see it. You can see them up game more than anything, but the I am on top
Mhm.
is everything, and on the bottom is nothing. So we understand finding that sweet spot that says no, we are not better than anybody, but we're also not lower than everybody. We're just aligned with what is, like, you know what I mean. So
Mhm.
again, just using the word humble, it's a little scary. It get a little different, like, you know what I mean. But when you're tapped in with a certain, I guess you want to say, frequency, then you kind of understand, like, humble just means to be what is type shit.
Yeah, that's, man. That perspective is a motherfucker. You know what I'm
Man,
saying? It really is, man. And uh with any word, I don't care what we can read the definition, and somebody will still be like, yeah, well, I'm looking at it from this angle. You know what I'm saying? No matter what. So
that's a fact.
that's that aspect where it's like, the acceptance and understanding where, like, gotta rock with people where they at. You know what I mean? If you could do that, some people
Yeah,
can't do that. Some people don't understand where you at. You know what I'm saying? And
right.
that's just where they're at. You know what I mean? And if depending on where
Fact.
you at, you could just respect it and be like, all right, well, if that's how you see it, that's how you see it. You know what I mean? And it is what it is after that point. But uh yeah, I did see a lot of different perspectives on the same thing. You know what I mean? That's that bridging the gap. Hopefully everybody was able to see the different angles as an angle. You know what I mean? Instead of like, nah, that shit ass, like it's trash, like, you know what I mean? I don't know, but it was still. I always think it's a dope show when we get those different aspects,
Different
because
aspect. Hell yeah.
from the
Yeah.
viewer watching, they got it. They can see. Oh, okay, I see that angle. Oh, damn. Okay, I see this angle too. You know what I'm saying? So that's the dope thing about it for me. Is just being able to see everybody's different perspectives and angles on these things. Hopefully, we can come together and be able to kind of mesh the perspectives, but all in time. We doing it. We
Yeah.
bridging the gap,
And
man.
that,
We bridging the gap.
exactly, that's a part of the work, just to bridge that gap. And sometimes bridges don't, they're not built the same day, like, you know what I mean. Sometimes the construction takes a little minute.
Mhm.
Sometimes you want to build it, then you're going to start putting the bricks and laying it, the work down. But if you just like fuck it, then you like, nigga, I got a boat out here, so I'm gonna just, you know what I mean, be in the water, fuck that bridge type shit,
Right,
like,
right,
but
right.
even if that's the case, that's why we're here. And when you come onto the show, we can still kind of like do that work and shit that
Mhm.
obviously needs to be done, or sometimes we want it to be done, but silently sometimes, like,
Right,
what I
right.
mean. Yeah.
Yeah. Real shit, man. Good show. Another one in the books, man. Appreciate everybody for sliding through. Everybody in the chat for chiming in, and everybody on Instagram for chiming in. Facebook, YouTube, everybody.
Y'all.
We'll be back. We'll give y'all. We kind of be on the. Hey, it's tonight, 6:30. But if you catch it, you catch it. If not, it's always on YouTube. You can rewatch it. You know what I'm saying? If you new, hit the subscribe button. If you're on YouTube, please, it'll help. You know what I'm saying? Get the channel out there. Hit the like button. All that shit helps the algorithm. YouTube shit. But nah, we appreciate it for sure.
Hell yeah. Yeah, we went forward today.
Yeah.
It
just happened. It just happened. Yeah, it just happened. You know what I mean? Like, we going. Fuck it. It was some interesting convos and shit, so yeah, man. I look forward to the next one. We got some good topics. Hopefully we could I like Lil Six's topic, and I like as far as just what we could probably do in one show. Karmic's thing. I don't know. That might be both of them might be separate shows. If we tried to put, you know what I'm saying? It might be too much to try to put them in one. But yeah, those are some good topics we could for surely touch on the next one.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's it. I ain't got nothing to say. So shit. We didn't already said it. Another one in the books. And shit.
Free Your Mind, man. Free Your Mind podcast, man. Appreciate y'all. Peace.
Gon' free your mind. Gon' free your mind.